Alright, here we go. This is our 400 subscriber special. And who better to have it with than my old man, Spike, ex-soldier of the 1st Battalion Scots Guards. You served in 1980 to 1985. And now you're a peace activist.
And a poet.
But I'm not going to do the introduction for you. We want to hear your story. I'm not going to do it James English style, fuck that. Just
the weirdest sort of start to life, because my parents had got a hold of a rooming kitchen in an old coach house in the outskirts of an estate in Mulgai. So I spent basically my first 4 years, and the only people I knew were my 2 older sisters, my younger sister, my mum. My dad would go to work every day, so we had no neighbours. We were in the middle of the country in what basically was a slum. It was an old coach house, and we actually still had a horse that lived in the stable down the stairs from it. So I was actually born at home at Douglaston Stables. There's another guy born in a stable 2,000 years ago, but I don't think there's any link there. So it was a very secular environment for the first 4 years of my life, and then we got a flat up in this council scheme in Mulgai, and all of a sudden we're surrounded by neighbours who didn't like us. Basically because my dad was English and my mum came from Glasgow, so nobody knew who we were. The only reason we got the house in Mulgai is because my mum's father had lived in that town many, many years ago. So from the off, we were on the back foot. The neighbours didn't like us, we were spoken about. Fucking English getting a house, how come my daughter can't get... You know, the usual shite you hear today about the Eastern Europeans or any immigrants, you know. So yeah, so it was quite a stressful childhood, quite traumatic, moving to that area at 4.5 years old. They're surrounded by other houses and neighbours and stuff, so yeah. And we had a lot of fights, throwing stones over garden fences at each other and stuff like that.
Is the Scottish that hostile towards the English?
Absolutely not.
And it wasn't just that, it was sectarianism as well. You were raised Protestant, weren't you?
Well, I was not from the household. My father didn't have a clue, he was English, and my mother never raised it in the house at all. It wasn't until we had to go to school. And there was a school just down the road from the flat we lived in, Drumgoyne Avenue, and there was football parks around. I thought it was a football school. And I wanted to go to that school, but I was told I had to go to this other school, which was a Protestant school. What's a Protestant? You're a Protestant. What's the school down there? That's a Catholic school. What's a Catholic? You know, that sort of very early introduction to sectarianism, you know, at like 4.5, 5 years old. And because I lived near the Catholic school, you didn't have the school running them days. After a couple of weeks, you made your own way to and from school, even at the age of 5. You know, it was just acceptable.
Yeah.
But every time I would have to run through this, loads of Catholic kids coming out of the school, and there were 3 guys in particular used to chase me and punch me and stuff like that, call me a proddy dog, and I'd call them a Cathy cat. And get to about 6 years old, I'd had enough of this shite, you know, and I used to have a school bag, and it was an old gas mask bag that the kids used for their books and stuff, you know, they were handy, really good, khaki. And the kids used to keep their gas masks in if they got a gas attack during the Second World War. So anyway, I put a half brick in it, and these 3 Catholic boys were coming up. There's that fucking prod, you know, and they came up to ward me. This time I didn't run away, I just got my school bag ready. I goes, come on then, you bastards.
Genius.
And the look in their face was just like, what's going on here? And I just swung it, I clattered one of them, caught me in the shoulder, probably side of the head, and the other 2 legged it. And I learned a valuable lesson that day that, you know, violence works. You know, in a big way. You know,
it's not
because
even
it left
that.
me alone after that.
I think it's just standing up for yourself. When you do that, people are like, oh fuck.
And that was basically the start of me fight. But I still encountered an awful lot of bullying at school. You know, if I went down the park to play, they'd be, there's Pike, fish face and all that, you know, teased fuck. And so it was a bit of an ordeal just going down, but I'd make myself go down. So I'm not going to stay in the house, I'm not going to be... I didn't know what it was in my young head, what was going, but basically, as you said, I was standing up for myself, but kind of unwillingly.
Yeah.
But I wasn't going to willingly shy away and not go down the park. So yeah, that went on for years and years and years. But you know, it's yeah.
Well, you grew up as well in the 70s as well, didn't you? When you were in high school, that would have been the punk era.
Well, the punk era is a good, but I didn't like school at all. I didn't get it.
Mm-hmm.
I was bored shitless. I would spend my whole time looking at a window, you know, like desperate to get out, waiting for that school bell to ring and release me from this classroom hell. Because I wasn't particularly bright as a kid. I wasn't thick. I just didn't get it.
There's not no lessons you were like, oh, I'm looking forward to that today.
Not till we got to secondary, when we got into art and proper art and stuff like that, you know. But the last 2 years of primary, I don't know how this works in England. You get juniors, you've got infants, juniors, seniors.
Yeah.
In Glasgow at the time, it was primary, and then you went to secondary.
Fucking grade 8, dude. I still don't know how that works in America. If someone says grade 8, I'm like, well, I've seen TV shows where they're fucking...
But, well, unfortunately, we had this psychopath as a teacher for the last 2 years of primary 6, primary 7. Now, this woman considered herself a paragon of virtue and a pillar of the community. Basically what she was is a sexually frustrated psychotic bully.
A sanctimonious cunt.
Yes. You can't, don't know if you can use the C word so quickly in a podcast, but you know.
You can on this one.
Anyway,
I said cunt.
She used to subject many of the kids like myself that were slow and didn't quite get what they were trying to drum into us. And there was always the successful kids at school, the ones that had this ability to retain information and recite it when they needed
nerd.
to. Like mine would go in one ear and out the other. And I guess you didn't get it. So she would torture us, call us stupid, thick, and she would get you to the front to read. So you'd have to go in front of the whole class.
And read aloud.
Yeah. And of course, I didn't get the words. And you get to a word and you go, I'm not going to get this word. And if you stuck on a word, that was her. She would start very slowly. Why don't you know that word? And then she'd poke you in the chest. And then she'd grab you by the skin under your chin. And she'd grab your ear and slap your head back. And she would continue this tirade of abuse. And her voice would get louder and louder. Stupid boy. Or if it was a girl, stupid girl. Till you broke.
Or if it was a non-binary, stupid non-binary.
Thank fuck for child protection law, eh? But no,
honestly, this woman would have been sacked on the spot.
There's something I just want to add real quickly. The amount of people I know of your generation who are very clever people, but like yourself, they struggled in school because they either had some form of attention deficit disorder or dyslexia,
or autism, dyslexia. Yeah.
And they went on to become very intelligent adults, but because the school system, even today, I know it's a bit more inclusive, a bit more not as harsh like it was with yourself, but you know, it's designed to sort of cater to a certain model of. It's not a case of, it doesn't measure intelligence; it measures the capacity to memorize what's
bullshit,
indoctrination.
Yeah.
So sorry, carry on.
I was so surprised at the amount of 16, 17-year-olds I had in these groups that could barely read and write. How can you get through 10 years of schooling without learning to read and write properly? But anyway, that was going forward.
We'll get back to that later, yeah.
So yeah, I was that's the time I started to play truant before I'd left primary school, because this woman, Mrs. Mackay, you know, she reminded me of...
it's a bitch name anyway. It's my auntie's second name. It wasn't there, was it?
She was so white, this woman could only be a Protestant, you know what I mean? Anyway, so but secondary school was just, it's awful, isn't it, when you leave juniors and go to seniors, as you call it here. Yeah, it's a big step awkward, up. All of a sudden you go from being a big fish in a wee pool to a wee fish in another big pool. You know?
I actually found the teachers were more insufferable in the junior school.
Really?
So in year 3 when I was 8, I had a maths teacher named Deborah. I won't say her name actually.
Yeah,
because she's dead. She died.
Right, well, so did Mackay. She died years ago.
Okay, so
fucking both.
I'll just call her Debs. All right.
Dead Debs.
Fuck yeah.
Deb's dead, baby.
All right.
Deb's basement.
Deb's dead, baby. Deb's dead.
Deb dead.
Whose bike and motorcycle that is?
It's Daddy Debs.
The chopper, baby. Whose chopper is this? So anyway, this woman, Deborah. Deborah. No, this is actually her name, by the way. You know, fuck her, right? She's got this coming, right?
Yeah.
So let's tell you the story about Debs, right?
What's the second name? Go on. Just fucking...
Nah.
For fuck's sake.
Just Google it on
Oh,
Evening
yeah.
Telegraph. You'll find it soon enough.
Dead,
Right,
dead,
She
okay.
was brutally murdered.
Was she?
Yeah.
Fuck off.
I'll tell you the story, right? Yeah.
Alright,
We can cut this out if you get stoned and don't like it in post.
No, I love it
Oh,
already.
you need to tell me the story after.
All right. So no, I'll tell you now. All right. We can always cut it out.
Mm.
So in year 3, I had a maths teacher. I was doing so well in maths that they promoted me to the next set.
Mhm. You got that for your
Oh,
mother.
you fucking murdered her.
No.
Oh,
No. So I got taken to the next set, and this woman, she would have been about 25 at the time.
Right.
And
What, in junior?
year 3,
Right,
so
okay.
year 2000. I'm 8. She was 25, right? And she was just a horrible woman.
She took a dislike to you.
Yeah, she'd belittle me. She'd have me. She'd say to me, "What score did you get on the last test?" And I'd say like 18 out of 25. And she said, "That's ridiculous. That's stupid."
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
What?
Why did she pick on you?
I don't know. She just didn't get me. You know what I mean? I had all this potential, but I just didn't know how to. You know, and it was during that time as well when we moved.
Yeah, you moved in with me.
When we would moved out of Poplar Road.
Oh Christ! And then things get really bad. Yeah. That
So-
was a bad choice from my
So
part,
it was during that time.
Right.
And anyway, eventually I just begged to be put down in the lower set.
Mm-hmm.
And after that, they said, "Why is he not any good at maths anymore?" So they put me in the special class,
Mm-hmm.
not realizing it was this woman.
Yeah. Did you not grass her up?
No, I tried to, but it was brushed under the carpet. But anyway, 5 years later, she gets murdered by her fiance in Thailand.
I heard about that.
Yeah, that was her.
Oh,
That was that
Christ,
teacher.
Yeah.
And but yeah, I'm not saying it was awful what happened to her, but it just Donna will happen away of that. You think that's funny, Donna, that someone got murdered?
I mean, fucking, we've got an audience here laughing at the fucking.
No, but I just thought we followed a similar trait. Like, by the end of high school, like you get to like year 10, the last 2 years of school, and Sean and I were very similar when we were just like, fuck this, and we just kept being truant.
Aye.
Because there were very few teachers in our school that truly inspired us to want to aim towards not necessarily greatness, but there were very
You
few.
used to be a happy person.
Well, what it is that there were very few teachers who were able to communicate to us on our level, because sometimes you have to go down to those younger people's level and communicate to them in a way that they can comprehend it. And I remember there was a teacher who was a substitute teacher. And it was always the substitute teachers that were the best. They were old school, they were in their 60s or 70s. They'd already retired, but you could just tell that they loved teaching. They weren't in it for the money.
Yeah.
Hence why they were retired and still working.
Yeah. Miss
And-
Thomas, like, you'd see her waddling out of the fucking bookies
brilliant.
of town.
And
Just put me lucky 15 on, lads.
I remember,
See you in school tomorrow. Sorry.
and I remember there was this one teacher, and he started talking about aliens in an art lesson, and I thought, I'm into this.
Uh-huh.
I want to know. I want to ask him questions. I want to contribute to this conversation.
Yeah.
And those other teachers, we had a head teacher called Mr. McGowan. He used to be.
I remember him.
He used to be. He was a great teacher. So what he would do is he would every assembly, you have to year 3, 4, 5, and 6 all sat in a row, and he'd get out a little short story collection called Read Me, and he would read these short stories to us. There would be a significant lesson in them.
Yeah.
And he did that every morning
Aye.
and tell us. Anyway, sorry.
I remember one teacher in secondary school, Miss Miller. She was a hippie woman. She was the Hendrix hair and all that, and
Careful with your hands, by the way.
the skulls and that. She wore scarves and stuff. The hierarchy of the school didn't like her, but they were all strict Presbyterians, with the cloaks. They used to wave behind them, like Batman coming along the corridor, with the belt over the shoulder. And I actually got an 82% pass for an English exam. She was an English teacher, and that's the only exam I passed apart from my art. And the whole time I was at school, I was always about the 40% mark.
Because you're good at drawing as well.
Well, I was okay, I kind of left it for too many years now. I got into words later on in life, But yeah, you were talking about, so yeah, they were my teens, the early start to my teens were fraught with all sorts of insecurity and lack of confidence, and it made me a gobby little cunt, basically, which made me unpopular amongst the older guys, So yeah, there was a lot of bullying and fighting back throughout my teens, So I basically couldn't wait to get out of school. I was already working when I was at school. In the morning, we'd go up in the morning, deliver milk. We'd get £5 a week for that, 6 mornings a week. If it was summertime, we'd go hay baling in the farms and throwing bales of hay on the back of trucks, and that we get paid £2.50 a day. totty picking, back breaking work. So I was pretty much working from the age of 14 onwards. It was child labour, but I didn't mind. I was getting money.
Yeah, you don't give a shit when you're that age. You've got a bit of money. Like.
So basically, I didn't go to school for almost the whole of the last year when I was 16 years old. And my mother didn't know I was playing truant until the truant officer came round. He said, Michael's been playing truant. She said, how many days? He said, officer, it's not days, it's months. And my mum went mental at me. She said, I trusted you. I was like, I just hate school.
I tell you what, I remember by my last year, I must have had about 33 days off out of the whole year, and there's only about 160 days in a year in a school year.
Well, some of the teachers thought I'd left.
Can I tell you a funny? Can I tell you a funny story? Right, so we had this science teacher called
Dr. Coomber?
Yeah, I didn't want to say her name, but fuck it, we'll say her name, right?
Oh, yeah.
So, Dr. Coomber, right? And in hindsight, this was I respect this woman in hindsight. She actually was very educated, this woman.
Uh-huh.
So, but again, with 15, 16 years of age, in hindsight, this was a very well-educated woman.
Uh-huh.
She just didn't know, again, how to communicate to our level.
Yeah.
And me, Sean, and Joe, and all that, we just loved having a laugh. One time, we all had Sony Ericsson phones, and we'd all Bluetoothed porn audio. Just the audio. So she'd turn around, right? Bearing in mind, this is quite new technology. This is 2007, right?
People shagging.
So she's not even the video.
Everyone.
Not even the video. Right? And we'd
Everyone
send
in
it to
the
everyone in the classroom, right? So she'd turn around, and then you hear, oh.
About 30 phones.
And in the end, 30 phones got confiscated because she'd turn around and one guy get his phone confiscated and someone else would start playing the porn video. But anyway, long story short, she comes up to me because she, at her wit's end, teachers would have no choice but to call the parents. But she called the wrong parent. She called you, right?
Oh God, what did I do?
Well, I'll tell you what happened. So
no.
she came up. So she came up to me one day and said, Daniel, when you see your father, tell him I'm sorry I woke him up.
She must have phoned me. I wonder, I can't remember it.
I don't know, but that's all she said. And
you wake me up to tell me that? Fuck off. It probably went along these lines, you know, because I still had this hatred for teachers.
Can I have a puff on that?
I still do.
I still have a hatred for I still at that time had a hatred.
I just wanted to tell you that she was actually, in hindsight, she was a very well established, a very well educated woman. But yeah, so we were playing truant, and we just, because the teachers weren't inspiring us to want to learn, because they were just English. I liked drama. We liked things where we could express.
The English teacher was naff.
We liked things where we could express ourselves. Eventually, I got kicked out of the classroom, and I had to just be sent to the library. And all I would do is write stories.
Yeah, well, there you go. It's stood you in good stead. You know.
So when you get to 17, I wanted to talk about the punk era.
Oh well,
because we're talking.
Did you have a mohawk?
No. That was the 80s punk.
Ah.
Yeah, and it was very much obviously the normal shit that was going on at times. Slade and Susie Quattro and
Slade.
74s.
Slade was good. Don't think about the Christmas song.
73, 74, 75 it was all glam rock, and I was into Mark Bowl and I liked that. But I was more influenced by my older sister Evelyn's music. She was into Deep Purple and Pink Floyd.
Stoner rock, that's what I'd call that.
King Crimson, that was
Doom rock and shit.
And I was getting into that, Wishbone Ash and stuff like that.
Dio, what about Dio?
I couldn't mention it at school, playing Wishbone Ash. They were all talking about Brian Roxy Music and all that, Brian Ferry and stuff. Well, look at the Stones and the Animals, House of the Rising Sun.
Yeah.
Well, the Doors, were they?
The Doors. I didn't get into the Doors so much later on. When I was in the military. But yeah,
when did
that
the
punk
start?
thing just
69, 68, 67. Sorry, carry on.
The punk thing I just loved it. This is what I want, because they were talking about it in Parliament. It was the end of fucking civilization. We knew it. The Sex Pistols was disgraceful, but and they were basically a bunch of wankers, but they were good. They inspired us to. I mean, I used to wear ripped up clothes, spray painted Sex Pistols, safety pin in my ear. My granny said, "I'm not walking down the street with you. Look at the bloody state of you." And my mum and dad were like, "What's going on to her?" You know, my dad's going, what's happened to my boy? Well, you beat the crap out of me since I've been fucking 4 years old. This is what's happening to you.
Do you remember when I was going through a similar phase at that age where we had the long fringes and we had the sweatbands with the badges on? And I remember we were in Choices. This is when it was called Choices, and we bought,
Video.
And they were selling these little badges.
Yeah,
and not even like being a weed smoker until I was in my 20s. I actually set a cannabis plant one, and you freaked the fuck out. You were like, son, are you smoking weed? I was like, no, it just looks cool, doesn't it? I got that one, a Che Guevara one. You know what I mean? Because I didn't know who these people were. I just associated it with what my peers were doing.
Like back then as well, the shirts was all Che Guevara and shit.
Because
I remember you used to use your mum's straighteners.
Yeah, so did I.
And you wouldn't move your head in case your hair.
No. We used to. I developed for about 3 years.
And if it's windy,
we developed a twitch. Because I was constantly
horrible memories.
But here's the thing, right? Isn't it funny how history repeats itself? Because I know Sean and I were not necessarily part of the punk movement the same way you were, but they call it new punk,
new metal.
Where
it's more heavier. Do you know, like the screamy shit in there?
Because you know, we're talking about like what we call secondary father figures. Joseph Campbell talks about it. He says in the hero's journey, we reject the primary father figure, all right, and we kind of adopt a secondary father figure, and that can be music. It can be the people that we work for. It can be these other men that influence us outside of our household.
I experienced that in my own teenage years,
What about, I know it sounds like I'm trying to take the piss, but like porn?
No.
I did porn when I was a teen, it was simply magazines, and they were all at the top shelf, you know. You occasionally found one,
it was fucked up.
Know,
like,
and you'd be and it was all plenty of fucking bush.
Yeah,
I remember pop-up ones.
Pop-up bush.
I remember, right, we found a porno mag when we were young, and we had this little garage. Mum let us have the garage as like a safe house, and we just took out all the pages and stuck them on the fucking garage. And my mum come in one day, it's just fucking. We're like 9. We're fucking pussy all over.
Society was so misogynistic in the 70s.
Careful, you're tapping your wine my dad up when he watches this.
Misogynistic. But my dad used to have a part-time job as a security company, and he'd take the dogs with all these kennels in the back of this truck thing, big Alsatians, and ferocious things, you know. I never went near them, but my dad could handle them. And we used to take them into these guardhouses where men and women worked, but they'd be covered in fucking porn, you know, all this fucking... and women would have to go past that office. Nowadays it's shocking to think that was acceptable. And all these guys had greasy hair, they all smoked, they all had dodgy teeth, very unkempt, but they were just chauvinistic bastards, you know.
You go back to fucking the beginning and the in-betweeners.
Yeah.
The first TV show, some of the shit in that, I was watching it last night, I was like, you won't get away with that now.
No.
Like, just the amount of like shit they say.
I just want to go back because there's plenty of time for porn talk anyway. That's something I want to ask you later.
Oh no, I just meant that as like some like.
No.
You know what I mean? Like I know it sounds like I'm taking the piss.
No. But going back to the ancestral, the secondary father figure, like it's going to sound bizarre now, but you know, one of my influences, like when it came to music, was Marilyn Manson.
Yeah,
because
I remember that. Yeah.
I know, like, there's a few things up in the air at the moment about his behaviour.
What does that come through the media?
Well, it came from some women, but we'll find out. We'll find out.
Yeah, but from women through the media.
Yeah. Look, all I'm saying is because you know you don't know what's going to happen a year from now, 2 years from now. I'm just saying whatever. Right?
That's why I sit here and pray like Bill Murray and Woody Harrelson. Please don't fuck kids, please.
So what happened is that this man was my influence because I'd become influenced. I'd been introduced to music at the age of 14, like on a regular basis, where I was able to consume as much as I wanted. You probably won't know what this means, but we had a thing called LimeWire in the mid 2000s, which was basically pirated music. And it would completely destroy your computer. But that's how we got access to music. So I'll be listening to things like Marilyn Manson and Rob Zombie, or I'd be listening to Korn.
Powerman 5000.
Yeah, Powerman 5000. But then it went beyond that because the more you listen to certain songs, the more you start to hear the lyrics. And I'm 14 years of age and I'm starting to catch on to some of these lyrics. And then I started watching interviews of Marilyn Manson, like Bowling from Columbine and all that. And
I watched that. It made a lot of sense.
Yeah, and him on Bill O'Reilly. And the persona you're seeing on stage compared to him off stage were two completely different people.
Freddie Mercury.
Yeah, and one of the things that he said that opened my mind to who I am now And there was plenty of things that you said to me in childhood that influenced me. But as a secondary father figure, what he said to me was, he said, you know, you look at commercials. If you don't have the toothpaste, the girl's not going to want to fuck you. If you don't have these certain clothes, people aren't going to want to talk to you, this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
And then he spoke about canned laughter in TV shows. He says they're telling you when to laugh.
Yeah.
And that's why I can't watch TV shows with canned laughter anymore.
Yeah.
So anyway, I just wanted to say about the secondary father figure, even though it wasn't quite punk, history repeats itself, where this new wave of anti-authoritarianism had came in and influenced me in the same way it influenced you in the 70s.
Yeah. Well, I just loved the rebellious thing of the fact that my parents hated it, and the adults hated it, and politicians hated it. But you're talking about bolts of wisdom from the secondary father figure. My mother had come out with some belters when I was a child. And I remember I was under 10 years old. Muhammad Ali had refused to draft. He was still called Cassius Clay then. And out in the street they were calling him, oh, this black bastard and all this. And he might be heavyweight champion of the world, but he's a coward because he won't go and fight for his country. And I went in mouthing that, you know, repeating what I'd heard in the street. And my mother, as quick as a fly, I must have been about 1967, 66. She goes, if there's more men like Cassius Clay on the world, would be a better place. And I was like, wow, you know, at that tender age. And I just looked at Muhammad Ali completely differently after that, you know, when he fought Joe Frazier. I was wanting him to win, where everybody was wanting Joe Frazier to win, you know.
Would you say that was the first time that your mind had been open from, even though you were a child, that was the first time you'd been taught adult wisdom?
I think, well, that's the one that sticks in my mind.
Because you did it to me, where you opened my mind for the first time when I was about 5 or 6 years of age, and you said, did you know that there's a light bulb that will last forever, but they won't make it because they won't make any money? And when I was 5 years of age, that turned my whole life upside down.
A light bulb moment.
Yeah.
So yeah, my mother was a fantastic influence in my life, and she still is. She's 86 now. My father was such a negative influence in my life. He was a figure to fear. You know, I spent my whole childhood, as long my sisters, my brother, walking on eggshells, not trying to disturb us. Occasionally be jovial and that, we'd have a, oh, Dad's the good mate, woo, make the most of it. But most of the time it was sneaking about the house, all sitting in the living room watching the telly. If you made any conversation, like, shut up, try to watch telly. You know, I was like, fuck, you know, and you couldn't go to your room then, and because they were cold places. We had coal fire, but we weren't allowed to have coal, for no double glazing, they were very cold places. I've told you in Kerry before, we used to wake up and frost the inside of the windows and stuff like that, you know. That was just acceptable. So it was a Jekyll and Hyde childhood.
Do you think he's bipolar?
I think my dad had some serious mental health issues, bipolar, whatever, but he was such an unhappy man. He lived in a life of watching cowboy films, or John Wayne, or fucking 007. I can't stand these films now. And he thought that's how life was. He would just focus on that, and probably in his own mind. He never opened up to me. He never opened up to any of my sisters. I've never had a conversation outside of football or the military with my father. And that was only induced through alcohol when I was later on in life, you know. So he was a very, very troubled man, and you know, I'm still dealing with the trauma of the shit he put us through and my mother through. And I'm 62 years old now, and he's been dead a year and a half.
Year and a half, yeah.
And I don't miss him at all, and neither does my mum. And I'm so glad that my mum's had a couple of years. She was married to this man for 65, maybe more, 66 years. You know, where she could hardly breathe, and she was always fighting her corners. And now she can just put her feet up and enjoy what's left of her life, you know, because he tried to apologise in a kind of way as he was dying. And my mother said, you're a bit late, Jim. You know, it's just a bit late. But off he went, and I'm just so glad that my mother...
Well, he's part of what's called... His generation is known as the silent era, I think it's called.
Yeah, men suffered in silence. I grew up with guys that had uncles or fathers who'd been in the Second World War, and they were just broken men. They were just like my dad, they would just sit and glare at the telly, and you wouldn't get anything out of them. They were just so traumatised with what they had witnessed in this war, the Second World War.
And they're never encouraged to
Oh no, they were never
up.
encouraged to speak about it or open up about it. Even to this day you're not, even though the military will wax lyrical about we give all the soldiers the help, fuck off. It's bullshit. Once you're no used to the military, they want you out. And they're not prepared to spend the money on you. Quite happy to spend trillions of pounds on Polaris or whatever it is, but the broken men, fuck them. Or they'll either commit suicide, end up in jail or homeless. You know?
Well, now we're getting like you joined the military in 1980, didn't you? But do you want to talk about before? Or
No, I tried to join when I was 16. Me and my mate,
careful, you're tapping.
Hopkins, of course, a guy that I grew up with. We were very close. Hoppy, Hopkins. He joined the Marines and he got in, and I went to join the Marines same time as him. But they looked at my school record. Of course, I've been playing truant for months at a time, so I didn't get in. I remember going home and being so fucking angry, you know. All my dreams had been shattered by one person saying, no, we don't think you've got what it takes to be a Marine. And then I'd moved to York when I was just before my 19th birthday, and I tried to join in York, but by this time I had acquired an assault charge. And God forbid that they let violent men join the army. It just wouldn't fucking do, would it? I mean, we can't have nutters with guns. You know, gosh, no. And it's when I moved from York to London, I just packed my bag and maybe had £280 in my pocket because I'd saved. I used to work in Roundtrees in York. I ended up moving to York because I got such a severe kicking outside a pub. Fractured my skull. I was in hospital for 3 weeks. They could have killed me. In fact, the guy that I was fighting with, I was beating him and like that. And this other guy ran it.
What, a noogie? Noogie.
And this guy ran at the pub and kicked me right in the head. And I went down and he pulled the blade and he was going to do me. But the guy I was fighting with, Jamie Rogers, pushed him up and he said, no. And I crawled away on all fours. My fucking head was a mess. Next day I had to go to the doctors. And straight to hospital, fractured skull, you know, and so I was in hospital for 3 weeks, and in that I wrote to my sister Evelyn, who lived in York at the time. I said, I need to get out of Dodge, I need to get the fuck out of my guy, and she goes, well, come and live in York. So then her husband was in the Merchant Navy, so he was away 8-9 months of the year, and I got a job within a week. Packing polo mints. But Roundtree's employed about 10,000 people in York. It was a big.
Is that Nestle?
No, Nestle was in York. Was it called Nestle at the time?
Roundtree's Randoms.
Roundtree's, and there was another one. I forget what the other one was, near the racecourse in York. Anyway.
Nestle's own fucking everything now.
They own the water.
So it was great money. I'd gone from an apprentice butcher and working in Bearsden on £25 a week to getting like £70 to £80 a week. I mean, that's a big whack up, you know. I thought I'd arrived. But, you know, living in York, it was a beautiful city and all that, and I got to see the architecture, and I got it, and went to the theatre for the first time and saw the Rocky Horror Show. So I got a taste for the arts, if you want. And but I was bored shitless, and I was had enough of living with my sister. So I just packed a bag and went to London. Nowhere to live, no job, nothing. Just ended up moving into a student hostel. And things got a bit lively there. You know, there's people from all over the world there, black, white, Asian, Chinese, Australian, New Zealand, American,
non-binary,
Swedish.
Very metropolitan.
And
9 million people, you know what I mean?
I used to drink in this pub just up the road for the hostel. There was a couple of working girls, prostitutes.
Yeah.
And I used to chat with them all the time, and I ended up in a relationship with the older one of the two, Jackie. I was only 20 at the time.
You shouldn't have to pay anymore.
Eh?
At least you don't have to pay anymore.
I didn't have to pay in the first place. I was terrified of it. Anyway, I won't go into
I digress.
But they were messing with heroin at the time,
Right,
and
yeah.
I dabbled a couple of times. And I worked as a security guard in London when I was there. I got a job within 4 days, you know, so it's easy to get jobs then. And the guy that I was working for was a former member of the Scots Guards, and he could see the direction I was going in, and he encouraged me and pushed me to join the military. So I was only in London 6 or 7 months or so, and I got in. I joined the army, Scots Guards. So I was like, oh my goodness, you know. And I joined the Guards depot I can't remember, 1980, January, February, March, about April. So I'd been in London 4 or 5 months. I moved in December. And next minute I arrived at the guards depot. But I had a rough idea what to expect because this guy briefed me well. Plus I did a short time in the Army Cadets when I was about 13 or 14. So I had a little bit of knowledge. And I get to the guards depot and it was like, these accommodation were called spiders on account of the shape of them. They had 6 legs. I know spiders have got 8 legs, but they had 6 legs. There was a central bit with the wash house and all the rest of it was. So they were called spiders because of the shape. Big long corridors, dormitories. And there was about 24 of us in each room. And people were drifting in, and I'd decided to get my hair cut before I joined the military because I didn't want them to butcher my head. So I just got basically a number 1. And somebody came in, he's spiky head. And I get called Spike from that moment onwards. The guy was called Carruthers. And he joined the 2nd Battalion. He ended up losing a foot in the Falklands War. A couple of
frostbite. Frostbite.
No, he stood in a mine.
Oh, right. Oh.
And
my.
I remember I was a bit streetwise. You know, I had arrived with one hold all in 2 poly bags. These guys were turning up with suitcases that Mummy had packed for them that night.
That's brutal.
You could hear them crying at night.
Well, that takes me back to Full Metal Jacket. It's probably one of my favourite military movies. Yeah. More than Platoon, more than Apocalypse
Quite accurate now. For the training thing.
And you've got the Private Pyle played by Vincent D'Onofrio. And you could tell, like, that's a parallel to what you were just saying about the kid that just turned up with Mummy and Daddy, because back then they would have been drafted.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
So they had no say in the matter. And clearly he has some learning difficulties, and the treatment that he went through ultimately ended up snapping.
I saw a few snap in the army, and sometimes they'd go into the range, and you'd be looking at this guy. I think, I don't want to be in a range with live rounds with this guy that looks like he's ready to go over the edge. And I remember a guy marking time, brushing his teeth. He's marking time. Because what are you doing? He's marking time. He completely lost it, you know. And because the transformation to living with Mum and Dad to the military, it must be incredibly traumatic. At least I had been around a wee bit. I had experience not living with my parents and fending for myself. I ended up ironing people's kit, polishing their boots and showing them how. Make them
you were essentially Private Joker.
Was that the name of the guy?
Well, Private Joker's the one with the glasses on that ends up going into photography, but he ends up having to help out Private Pyle.
And we even had to put the studs in the boots and all that. I thought, you don't know how to do this. Some of them didn't know how to make a bed.
What?
I know. And they had to be made a certain way, you know, like hospital corners and all that. We didn't have quilts then. And we had to polish this floor every night with buffers and hand buffers. You could actually stand and see your full reflection in the floor. So our room was regarded as, come and look at this room. This is how it should be. And I'd be standing there.
So what was the emphasis put on? Like, what would they...
Oh, yeah, discipline. Everything had to be just so for the military to work. They can't have people scratching their arse or saying, I don't want to do that. You know, the whole military ethos is to obey orders without question. And that's why we have so many atrocities with military movements over the years, like Little Bighorn. What was the name of where all these Indians get slaughtered by the Americans?
Or what they call the Native Americans? I can't remember the name of the tribe. You've got the Navajos and all that.
Yeah, they just get wiped out, kids and all. And they done the same in Vietnam. The Scots Guards done the same in Malaysia, and it was happening in Korea and South Africa. It was just atrocity after atrocity, but they let it go because it's the military. They're allowed to do shit like that.
Good terrorism.
Yeah. That's,
I can't believe it's not terrorism. That's a Steve Hughes joke. I'm sorry.
So yeah, well, I didn't understand the full implications of all that at the time. I was only 21, and I finished my basic training, flying colours.
How long does that take?
22 weeks, which is 6 months.
Right.
The normal regiments is 16 weeks. Guards, Paras, Marines is 22 weeks.
So it's specialised, the Scots Guards?
Okay, basically, yeah, the training's harder and we've got a lot more drill to do because we do all these public ceremonies, which I didn't do for the first 3 years, thankfully. Because the first port of call on my first flight off to Belfast, and I'm thinking, as I'm getting on the plane at Heathrow, and I'm thinking, what the fuck have I volunteered for? I could have joined the 2nd Battalion and stayed in London to do
but then you
bear-skinning tunic and
would have ended up in the Falklands.
fucking Falklands. Good choice, you know.
Was there a 3rd Battalion?
No.
I was just kicking it in Portsmouth.
And so going to Ireland was an eye-opener, you know, and I'd heard obviously on the news and what my father had been saying and what you'd read in the papers that the IRA were gutless, cowardly murderers, and there was just a few of them. And you arrive at the place and you start patrolling these areas and fucking old women are spitting on you. Fuck off, you Brit bastard, you. I'm like, fucking, they all hate us.
Excuse me, lady, I'm Scottish.
People really fucking hate us.
I'm from Scotland.
I just didn't get it. I mean, I thought we were there to protect them from the Protestants. So it was all confusing. But my defence mechanism was to hate them back as much as they hated me. And I became very cold and cynical, and I used words like tague bastards and fenian bastards and boggy bastards, you know, and I would never outwardly...
What's a boggy bastard?
Well, from Bogside, you know, Derry, but I would never in Derry as a soldier. I was always in Belfast, of course. There had been one hunger strike a few months beforehand, but it hadn't worked. I wasn't even aware of what was going on.
Can you just explain what the hunger strike was to people?
Well, the first hunger strike failed just because they all went hunger strike together.
No, but
So
sorry,
they-
just explain.
Well, I would get.
Sorry. Just
I'm fucking getting there. What's it like? but they could see each other deteriorating, and they just couldn't do watching their mates dying. So none of them actually died. So Bobby Sands, who was an elected member of Parliament for
Sinn Féin, Sinn
Féin, and he had volunteered to rearrange the hunger strike. And I learned this much later in life when I went back to Ireland as an adult. So he said he would go on hunger strike first. Remember that film
Hunger with
Hunger.
Michael Fassbender.
with the dialogue between the priests? Best bit of film I've ever seen.
Just real quickly, I just want to say that the hunger strikes was the prisoners of war in the IRA.
Well, basically, they wanted political status.
Yeah.
They wanted to be treated as prisoners of war, and Maggie Thatcher was having none of it. She said, no, they're fucking criminals, they're common criminals, murderers, you know. And that's the stance the Brits took. They wanted to wear their own clothes. They weren't allowed to. They had prison uniforms, so they refused to wear them. They'd wrap blankets around them. So the authorities then started saying, well, if you're not going to wear the uniform, you're not going to slop out in the morning. So they used to have to get their pots and throw their pots out, or the shit and piss out the window in the morning. What the authorities do, they nailed the windows shut to try and break the prisoners. So they ended up a dirty protest where they had to smear the excrement on the wall and the piss and that everywhere, and they're living and they're not shaving, and they looked, you know, I remember looking at murals on the walls in Republican areas of these guys with long black hair, and so that's basically what they were fighting for, political status. And I didn't get that at the time. I didn't understand any. All I wanted to do was get through the whole fucking sorry affair with a head on my shoulders and alive.
And Hunger's a good film to watch, isn't it, to get a bit of perspective about this. Michael Fassbender did a terrific job of it. There's that one particular scene, it's just it's like a shot like this that holds, for 20 minutes?
24 minutes without a cut when they're having this conversation.
Between Bobby Sands
the
and...
fact that they're smoking between them also adds to it when they keep exhaling the smoke. It's a fantastic piece of film. Anyway, just before Bobby Sands got to 66 days and he died, that's no food for 66 days. And,
he died?
Well, before he died, we knew he was going to die because we were getting updates all the time that he was drinking. He could only drink sterilised water. He couldn't drink tap water; it just make him vomit. It's how the body just shuts down.
Yeah.
You know, and it starts devouring itself to stay alive.
Why did he just fucking kill himself?
Well, because he was making a protest. And it's called a hunger strike. I think the hunger strike stems from God knows where people protest against being unfairly treated with going and stop eating.
Yeah.
You know, and he died. I remember before we got leave before he died, and I went back to Glasgow, and I remember my dad coming into the kitchen. I was doing the dishes, and I was scared, shitting myself. Well, this man dies, it's really going to kick off. He goes, "You all right?" I goes, "No, I'm not all right, man." You know, and I explained to him my fears. He goes, "Well, you can't not go back." because it was all in my head to say, I'm not fucking going back. I don't want to face this shit. Anyway, you go back. And my dad would run me to the airport. My wee brother Derek would be in the back of the car. I couldn't even talk to them. I just looked out the window on the whole fucking way there. I was like, oh, God, this fucking dark cloud of despair over you, you know. Fear, depression, what the fuck is going to happen? And once you get to the airport, you see a couple of more of the lads, you begin to lighten up a wee bit, you know, you begin to be that camaraderie that you only get with like close, like firemen, policemen, soldiers, whatever, guys that are in deep trauma together. We tend to bounce off each other. So anyway, he died and it kicked off, and they saturated the whole of the north of Ireland with thousands of British troops. And every night it was riots, petrol bombs and blast bombs and stuff. And we were all living in this gymnasium, and we were in little Z beds. We had a Z bed, enough room for a suitcase, and then another Z bed, 30 of us maybe, all living on top of each other. It was fucking...
I remember seeing in Hunger, you see people banging the bin lids.
Yeah. That's every time a hunger striker died, the black flags would come out the windows and they'd start banging the bin lids. Or if we were in patrol and we passed a certain area, they'd bang the bin lids. Oh, we could hear that. Troops coming, bang, bang, bang. Now they just phone each other.
Yeah, WhatsApp group chat. They just send a bin lid emoji.
I remember, I don't know which one had died, the 6th or the 7th, but we got so complacent about the whole fucking thing by this time, riots. And another one had died, and I was in this observation post. We had sangers all over Belfast, bulletproof and barbed wire and that, where they couldn't throw grenades. And the bins started going, and I was on 0, this is 4-2 Alpha. The New Lodge and District Symphony Dustbin Orchestra is getting volume. The guy the other side was cracking up. It was just meant a whole night of riots, And
so what, the bins were to alert yous or them?
No, to alert them.
Right.
In a way, it's kind of got like that old school Scandinavian Viking chant to it, isn't it? It's going to intimidate the opposition, isn't it?
Well, it was quite intimidating at first. But then like I just explained, the New Lodge and District Dustbin Symphony Orchestra giving volume was taking the piss out of it.
Yeah, but then they just know, they're like letting you know that they know that you're
and we could say, bang, 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 get people out in the streets, Another one of our lads had died in prison of hunger strike, and the Brits have allowed this guy to
did you already explain how the hunger strike ended?
It just stopped. It seemed to stop as quick as it started. It stopped at 10.
Because it was every 2 weeks, like you said.
Yeah, every 2 weeks another one go on strike, so they weren't witnessing each other deteriorating.
Oh, right, so they
And didn't you say that you met with an ex-Republican who said that they make these dinners for them?
Later on in life, when I went back to Ireland as a member of Veterans for Peace, we were talking to an old guy called Patrick, who was from South Armagh, and he was telling us that he went on hunger strike, and they were bringing in the best smelling food into the cell, and he remembered they left this pie in the tray, and he went up and he poked his finger through the crust, and he could smell all this food, and he thought about the guys that died before him. He thought about how people would talk about him afterwards. He goes, I can't eat that. And he lapsed into a coma after 44 days, and it was his mother. He was no longer in charge of whether he was going to die or not, because he was in a coma. So his mother said, right, my decision, resuscitate him, start feeding him, fucking put the stuff in his veins. I don't want my son to die like this. And that was the end of it.
Do you think that Thatcher, if it kept on going, Thatcher would have eventually relented?
I don't think Thatcher was ever going to relent on anything. They called her the Iron Lady for a reason. She saw it one way and one way only.
Yeah.
And the British public, on the whole, saw it one way and one way only. They were talking about IRA atrocities and this and that. They're forgetting about the 800 years of English-British atrocity towards the Irish. And what they had done.
So one thing I find interesting, I was watching the I can't remember the guy's name. Was it? I don't want to say Ken Norton because that's a boxer, but not Ken Loach. But there was these two guys that had spent 10 years making this documentary covering the whole Vietnam War. They also published it into a book.
Ken Loach is Ken Barlow from Scary, mate.
Not Ken Loach. Ken Loach is a film director. But there was these two guys.
Ken Roach is Sorry,
Ken
Karen.
Loach is the... Anyway, so
Karen.
there was these two guys. It'll come to me later, and I'll be like, for fuck's sake. But basically, in
Want me to just
2017...
fucking Google it right now?
Yeah, Google it. So in you're not connected to the Wi-Fi.
Oh,
Don't worry
fuck
about it. Fuck that. It's just there as a prop.
It's there for show now.
It's just there as a prop. But anyway, so these two guys, they spent 10 years making this PBS documentary about Vietnam. The whole thing is like about...
Is that the one we watched?
Yeah, we watched that.
Yeah.
And what was interesting was learning about guerrilla warfare.
Mm-hmm.
Oh mate, that's the most interesting war documentary I've ever watched.
And I see a lot of parallels based on what little understanding I have about the IRA.
Well, that's what the like when we went back as an adult as Veterans for Peace, and he would tell us, he said, we wanted Britain out of our country.
Mm-hmm.
How are we going to do that? How are we going to take on the British Army? We could only do hit and run, small units, 2 to 3 at a time, bomb, shoot, snipers. That's the only way they could take on. They're like the Scots did under William Wallace, hit and run tactics.
Mm.
You know, so that's basically, it's the same as Vietnam but without the palm trees.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
There was a lot going on with like nail bombs, wasn't there?
Blast bombs were our nemesis, which was a crude piece of metal piping filled with explosives, maybe half a pound of Semtex or something like that. A very crude fuse. It'd light it and it'd fizz. So you knew when a petrol bomb was coming because it would be flames.
Yeah.
And it'd smash. You know, pretty harmless really, you know, unless it hit you directly in the head. But dodge. And but if you saw something fizzing, you get the fuck out the road, you know. So there was a few of our lads were cut to pieces, especially in the lower part of the body, because they would land in the deck and blow, and they would hit in the leg, and the groin, and stuff like that.
Yeah, a few balls.
So
Did you-
there was one night in particular, we were out. There was 8 soldiers and 4 RUC. RUC were Royal Ulster Constabulary, basically
Loyalists.
loyalists through and through, without a doubt. I don't think there were any Catholics in the RUC, and if they were pretty badly treated. Anyway, we were going through all the back streets of the alleyways of the Ardoyan area, and we came across a cache of petrol bombs, all with petrol in them, rags in them,
Yeah.
door conveniently left open, and something fucking stinks here. And these RUC pricks said, right, Cordoners, we're in a fucking back alley. And they decided to start smashing. And then there were 10 high, these crates of fucking petrol bomb. That was a great idea to start smashing them against the wall. And we were like, what the fuck is going on? A big crowd of people were gathering there in a drive which was parallel to the alley. And I'm standing there right next to these fucking wankers that I hated them. We're at risk here.
They were basically like the South Vietnamese to
And
the
they were
Americans.
trying to we'll show these take bastards that we're in charge, smash. Probably just smashed a bit of crate full, and this guy Willie came up with a mate of mine, said, Spike, I don't like this, let's get to fuck. So I walked about 20 yards up this alley, and next minute, boom! Pretty much the explosion was where I'd been standing.
Oh, they.
The blast bomb over the wall.
Ah, fucking idiots.
Bang, took out one of the coppers, got hit in the gut really bad, and he did a big hole in his gut, and he was screaming.
Oh.
And I ripped a field dressing off one of the other boys. We carried them in masking tape to the back, so they were easy to rip off.
Mm-hmm.
Masking tape's easy to rip. And I was going to shove this in his wound. I could hear Stevie and Connell shouting, I've been hit. And I said to this RUC guy, you sort this cunt out, my fucking friends need me. Cunt, I fucking hated them. And he was like white as a sheet and shaking. Not so fucking brave now, are you? You know, and I went to attend to Stevie. He was leaning against the wall. His green denims were just blood red, you know, and I thought, fucking hell, he's lost his bollocks, you know. But he hadn't. How, I don't know. So everything hit his groin. And we had to radio in for an ambulance to come and get us, and transport to get us the fuck out of there. And the IRA had their own makeshift ambulances, you know, these Volkswagen vans. They pulled up. Do you want us to take your boy? I goes, yeah, we'll find him in a ditch tomorrow with a fucking bullet. He said, fuck off, you take cunt. You know, and we got Stevie onto one of your ambulances, and I was one of the last to go on the transport. And the smell of Semtex and petrol and hatred. And I thought, I began to realise that this just wasn't a Republican problem. This went a lot bigger, and these loyalists were just as much to blame for the shit that was going on as the Republicans were, and the Brits.
So your duties during that time, were you having to find informants and
Well,
sort of-
basically we were just information gatherers. We had lists and lists of names and photographs of known active players, and if we saw them in the street, we'd write it down there. If we were in an OP and we were looking through binoculars, we'd write down who we saw and who they were talking to, where they were, what car they were in, what they were wearing, you know, and we'd feed all this information back. Thousands and thousands of soldiers feeding information back to the intelligence, and they could build up a picture of the movements of what the IRA were doing, or INLA as well, that were involved, Irish National Liberation Army. And so they could build up a picture of pattern of movement, and they could occasionally send in the SAS to take a few of them out and stuff like that. But there was one or two moments that when I nearly shot that guy in the face just before the
Tell us about that then.
A guy had been head jobbed in the Armagh Road near the markets area, which is one of our areas, Republican area. And I could see him lying in the road, blood everywhere. So our job was to hot pursuit, knowing active members at the time. And there's just a couple of brothers that lived in a mobile home. It's all houses now. And so we targeted them, we were nearest to them. So I kicked his door in, and he was standing at the door. He said, "Fuck off, you Brit bastard, you." And he pulled what looked like a blade and lunged at me. And I went back. And I cocked my weapon and shoved it in his face. The guy next to me cocked his weapon and shoved it. His two SLRs pointing in his face, cocked, ready to go. I even let him see if the safety catch was off. His brother was standing behind him. I looked in the living room. His mum and dad were sitting watching the fucking telly. And somebody shouted, "Shoot him!" I go, "What?" No, you know, no way. So I arrested the guy, got him to fuck. "Why didn't you shoot him?" Because his fucking parents were in the... What was I going to decorate them with his brains? It was insane, you know, but so glad I never fucking choked and pulled the trigger.
Yeah.
I don't think my life would have panned out the way it has had I done that. I don't think I'd have coped.
It takes something, it's something, isn't it, to take a life?
Absolutely. People think it's something easy. It's not, thankfully. You know, to most of us, to a psychopath, it's not a problem.
So how long does this tour go on for? And how?
Well, I flew out there in March, and we left in December. A few weeks leave before we went and back on a two-year tour of Hong Kong. And I remember being on the street, and the known players would come up to us and say, "We know you're leaving soon. We know you're going to Hong Kong. We haven't got one of you yet." There was no fatalities. We had not one fatality. He says, "We're going to get fucking one of you before you go." And we had to travel from Belfast back to Alexandra Barracks, which is near the airport. And we were in a 4-tonner. I was sitting in the back of this 4-tonner. I've never been so scared in my fucking life. I thought fucking the thing was going to blow up, or we're going to get GPMG bullets ripping through the canvas. You know that film Hamburger Hill, when they're flying in the helicopters and they're all looking dun 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 dun.
Yeah.
It was like that, and it was a half-hour journey. It was the longest fucking half-hour of my life. I thought, these cunts are going to get us. These cunts are going to get us.
With this occupation in Ireland, was it like, is it the same formula where it consists of territories? You're trying to claim territories? Or...
No, basically we were trying to keep the two warring factions apart.
Right, so you're kind of like quote unquote peacekeepers.
You know,
I use that word ironically.
Information gatherers,
yeah.
And we were there to basically harass the Republicans, to keep them in their fucking place. Bloody pigs, yeah. Same as they treated the Wogs and the Darkies in Africa.
But I just wanted to check that it didn't consist of like territory like it would be with Vietnam with their hills and all that shit. You know what I mean?
No.
So I got a question. I remember you telling me one time when you were doing a talk at the Corby Cube, you're talking about this Mexican film crew.
Oh fuck! Right, okay, yeah. There were some cracking moments of complete madness. You know, where after Bobby Sands had died, everybody was on the street, including the company commander, which you never saw, the company sergeant major. They wanted a piece of the action, you know. So we drove 2 Land Rovers. I had the company commander and the Land Rover with me, and we would been through their door, and they'd been hitting us with bricks and petrol bombs and iron bars bouncing off the fucking Land Rover. We had iron grids to protect the windscreen and that, and the guys had a shield at the back. And to stop, they were accurate little fuckers. They could hit you in the mouth from 20 yards. Been practising since we were 2. Anyway, we had to get out of that area and we pulled into a loyalist area for a fag break. Because I smoked cigarettes at the time. It was a relief. We just got out, like, fuck that. And these 2 people carriers pulled up, black people carriers. And this guy with a big bushy moustache and mental hair coming, what the fuck's going on here? And the company commander went over and spoke to him and he came back and said, okay chaps, you gentlemen here are from Mexico, Mexican film crew. And I said, and? I wanted to patrol the street, they need some footage to send back to Mexico. This is a fucking loyalist street. The curbstones are red, white and fucking blue. They've got Union flags at the fucking chimneys. It's a fucking safe as fuck avenue. Couldn't get safer than fucking here. Well, just patrol it like you're patrolling the Ardoyne. Oh, for fuck's sake. Even the company sergeant major was like, I don't fucking believe this. So, okay, let's go on. So we're patrolling, and we get in, like we were doing, a place where we could get killed. And I started to go do the commentary. And here the brainy soldier, he's patrolling the street, you don't know where the gunman is, he gets shot in the ass. The boys were laughing like, fuck, this guy was fucking going mental. In Mexican, or Spanish. And the company said, look chaps, patrol this area like it's real. You're all fucking there. So we're patrolling the streets, and I'm in between these 2 gateposts, and there's a wee woman sweeping the street. I've obviously exaggerated this story for comic effect. She's looking at us, soldier, what are you doing? We're patrolling the street. Why? I goes, because you know these fuckers over there, they're a Mexican film crew. She goes, how do you know they're a Mexican film crew? Because I don't fucking know. They just want to film us. And the whole thing was a rap. Yeah. And of course word got about, the rest of the battalion heard about this fucking Mexican film crew. And I remember Willie Campbell said, oh look, there's a rover group going out, there must be a fucking Mexican film crew on the streets. Sarcastic bastards. Insanity. So they've taken somewhere in the Mexican BBC News, the NBC News Mexico Broadcasting Companies, fucking, there's something me and my fucking mates walking about a safe as fuck street in Belfast, kidding on the scared.
Yeah. Imagine little Spanish Mexicans watching it.
Yeah.
I would like to see that footage. It must be
cool.
somewhere.
So that led to Hong Kong then. Your 2 years in Hong Kong. Do you need to talk much about that? Or?
Well, Hong Kong was a revelation.
Because before '97, it was owned by the British Empire.
Yes. That's why they sent a battalion of whoever turn it was to do Hong Kong. And we thought this is the best thing to ever happen to us till we got there. The accommodation was shite, cockroaches, there was rats, it was run down to fuck, there was mildew on our clothes, we put them in the lockers. The kitchen area was shocking, big long barrack kitchen area, lots of rats and stuff. It took about 6 months to sort the place out. But the worst thing about it was the heat and the humidity. But we weren't allowed to go out unless we had a suit and tie on. It's a fucking 90 degrees. And after about 8 months or so, they relaxed that rule to wear shorts and a shirt with a collar.
9 months later.
Yeah.
Well, what, even when you're off duty?
Yeah, we were off duty, we had to wear a suit to go out on the piss.
Okay, now.
I know.
I never saw that in the photos. He was in tank tops and shit.
Yeah, well, we used to take bags of clothes out with us.
Keep talking, by the way. Keep going.
We used to take bags of clothes out with us, and we'd get in a taxi and head in. As soon as we were in the village, we'd get changed, put our suit in a bag, and then get changed back into it before we went back through the guard. I mean, it's pish. In Hong Kong, well, we'd forget, we were just finished Ireland, so we were wired. We used to experience 10 months of madness.
Was there nothing going on in Hong Kong?
No, there was, we were just there to represent the British imperialism,
Yeah, at the time.
Our territory, we just fucking robbed it off the Chinese for a bag of heroin, I think.
Get the poppies.
Well, basically,
get the fucking poppies.
That's what the British done. They flooded China with heroin, turned everybody into smackheads. And basically made a fortune out of the place. The British Empire, brutal. We call it the brutal empire for a reason. The more I learn about it, the more I hate it.
Yeah.
I'm not ashamed that I was part of it for a while, but I'm not proud of it either. So Hong Kong was like We'd every now and again we'd go up to the new territories, and we'd wait and catch illegal immigrants. Some of them would swim across the river, some would try and go.
Well, so Hong Kong people coming over to China?
I try to escape communist China for what they thought was going to be a better life, but it never was. Most of them end up with a female as prostitutes, or they would end up washing dishes and treated.
The same happens to people in North Korea that try to escape. They end up in China and end up just being trafficked. Can't say the word.
So I actually caught 2 of them by myself. We used to make a wee basher, which is a makeshift tent. 4 of us. One would be sitting watching the river, and you'd have night sights as well. We could see what was going on at night. If it's a starry night, they were brilliant. If it's cloudy night, you couldn't see fuck all. But Sergeant Brown's woke me up and said, Pike, there's 2 guys swimming across the river. What the fuck's that? I was already dressed. I just got out my sleeping bag and
suit and tie and that.
Suit and tie.
Get them, boys.
highly polished shoes. And,
Man from Uncle.
I had this net, and there's a guy called Jim Brown behind me, and I could hear this guy coming. I just got his silhouette as he came round the bushes. I'd become the bush with this net over me. Couldn't see a thing. It was pitch black, but I could see his silhouette, and his foot was about there. I could hear my fucking heart beating. Boom, 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 boom. And I just grabbed his foot, pulled him up. I was on his chest, and I had him by the throat. Don't you fucking what you doing? And his wee mate came round the corner, seen his buddy had been collared, and he just put his hands up, So we cuffed him up, took them away, and they took them back to China. And I was thinking, I wonder what happened to these poor cunts.
In hindsight, would you, if you were the person you were now, would you let them go?
I wouldn't have been there in the first place. Yeah, probably would.
So what's the story with the Americans? Remember you telling me some stories about...
The Yanks used to come ashore, 3,000 at a time. They called the fleet. And they would be on this aircraft carrier and several other destroyers. But the aircraft carriers were like ghettos. You had black areas, Hispanic areas, white areas, Italian areas, redneck areas, And even when they came ashore, they very seldom mixed with each other. And we would mix with them all.
It's like prison, isn't it?
Yeah. But occasionally fights would break out, and they'd been sober for months because they're not allowed to drink on the ship. Of course,
Americans
come ashore and they were like getting leathered. But they were warned beforehand not to drink with us, play cards with us, or fight with us. We had a reputation, So I had a couple of scraps, and the whole place was lots of MPs, all the military police from the Americans, from Chinese police and British MPs, and so there was lots of people there to stop what could really go off quite badly, And in my time in Hong Kong, I was 6 weeks in Malaysia, which was amazing, especially the weekends in Singapore.
Yeah, you're getting stoned.
The best weed. we hung out with the Kiwis, the New Zealand soldiers, and they were all big Maoris. Fucking great big muscle bound, and that was the women. And the blokes were even bigger. But they were great people. We loved them. We got on fine. We drank with them, and we would score. We'd even score weed off taxi drivers and things like that. I'll stop in the boot and that, And they would be tie sticks wrapped in brown paper, and it'd be about that long.
Was it solid?
It was. You'd have to break it up to make a joint, but people smoked them as well. Called bullets. But we break them up and make joint. I remember saying to this Kiwi once, any weed? He goes, we're waiting for some coming, but have this wee one Skinner. I goes, oh, for fuck's sake. So me going on Andy and puffing away.
I'm just thinking of train spot. What the fuck are these?
The strongest thing. We walked into this bar, and you know what it's like when you walk into a crowded place when you're stoned. And so we all got a table, and we're sort of hanging onto this table. Completely wiped out. It was going to take about half an hour for the initial rush to wear off, and Gonzo wanted a Parental lemonade, Andy wanted Southern Comfort, and I wanted something else, and I'm trying to remember. I had to go to the bar, and I'm going in and out of these people, trying not to look, cause you know what it's like when you're stoned. And I get to the bar, and the barman said, yes. I went, 3 pints of lager, please. That's all I could remember. Took him back here. Fucking get your own drinks in future.
What was that story with the American?
What one?
I'm gonna go downtown.
Oh yeah, this fucking redneck at the China Fleet Club, fat ugly motherfucker, and he's getting drunk, and he goes, I'm gonna go downtown and I'm gonna get me some goddamn pussy. And we're looking at this guy, and we started to imitate him. Of course, over the course of a few days, the exaggeration of his voice got worse. And we were getting ready to go out and say, I'm gonna go downtown and I'm gonna get me some goddamn pussy. Of course, Andy would try to do it better than Gonzo would do it. It was just ridiculous. It's absolutely mad, you know.
Yeah,
It's
you
just,
don't do that.
this guy couldn't score in a brothel with a fucking tenner tied to his knob. You know? Oh, dear.
Tell us the helipad story. Was that in Korea? Malaysia?
That was Malaysia. We do our training during the day. You're training in the jungle, you just realise why the Yanks get their arse kicked, because it's impossible. You're just sweating all the time, and everything wants to eat you, bite you, and cause you infections. And
At night time, it's just something
well,
else.
no, at night time you don't even move. There's no point. You can't see that in front of you.
What
Anyway.
is it? I was going to ask what it sounded like at night. in
Oh,
the
well,
jungle.
the whole volume changed from daytime shift to nighttime shift, and they'll seem to be 10 times louder at night. It was mostly frogs and insects that made the noise.
Chupacabras and shit.
Constant fucking racket. They all try to shag each other or eat each other. I don't know. Yeah, it was a big fucking psychotic orgy, you know.
What, with who? What?
With all the insects.
Oh, Jesus, I was like, what the
You're
fuck?
just sitting there in the dark like that. Oh, you know. Anyway, no, not cracking one off. And somebody
yeah.
come down and bite you in the knob. So
Did anyone get their dick blown off? Just have a pair of balls?
no, I thought Stevie maybe had done so.
Just had a fucking door knocker.
Anyway,
Sorry.
we used to. We've got some weed, and other guys would be sitting drinking Fosters, and you know, drunk. Me, Andy, and Gonzo used to fuck
Sneak
off
off for
every
a
night.
joint, yeah.
And we'd go back like that, Chinese eyes, you know. Like, you've been fucking smoking, don't you? No,
Did they ever mistake you for one
where
of the
would we
Hong
get
Kong?
it from, you know? Like in Malaysia, you know. And anyway, we sneaked off to the helipad.
Did you ever get stoned? They mistook you for an enemy.
No,
Holy
no.
fuck.
So,
We sneaked off to the helipad, skinning up. Next minute, fucking Sergeant McEwen comes crashing through the bushes. I knew you bastards were up to something. Gonzo's brother. And he goes, give me that fucking joint. So 3 became 4. You know, and it just, you know, it was. I mean, we had some laughs, man.
Yeah.
We really
He
did,
didn't know his
you
own brother smoked weed.
Eh?
He didn't know his own brother smoked weed.
They probably did, you know, because they had been in Kenya before I arrived at battalion, so they pretty
Oh,
good
yeah,
news,
yeah.
you know. I mean, stuff grew wild there.
So-
So yeah, that kind of Hong Kong came to 2 years came and went very, very quickly. I had to leave in the December before the battalion. We had to do a course, an Aldershot, the PTI's course, and that was a shock to the system. 83 was one of the coldest winters Britain had experienced. I come back from a hot
When was that,
place,
83?
Aye, December 83, and I was January 84, and I was just not a happy bunny. You know, that whole change of environment, the whole change of job. We were doing public duty, Bearskins, Palace, the Tower, St James's, Windsor Castle, and I fucking hated it. I just didn't like it at all. It's just all bullshit, you know.
Yeah.
Just there for tourists to take photographs of, you know. So yeah, but I was
stand away from the Queen's Guard. You see those videos?
out of the way, the Queen's Guard. Bumping some poor old guy out the road. You know, but yeah, I smoked a joint in Buckingham Palace forecourt.
Did you?
At night time, you don't wear your bearskin, you don't stand at the sentry box like a fucking robot. You're allowed to walk about. You wear a flat cap and your tunic. And,
Did you have like joints in your
yeah, I had a joint and a light in my hat. And as you look at Buckingham Palace forecourt, the guard room's over to the left, and there's a set of stairs. And there's a certain area you can't walk because it's these beams. If you break the beam, it'll light up the police. And,
Right, yeah.
and we don't carry bullets anyway in the gun anyway. You have to go to the
For
guard room
show.
to get the bullets. It's a bit fucking late. He says, what if you're bored at night and you see a taxi? You know, somebody bored out their nuts. So anyway, I sat beside this wee set of steps where they couldn't see me. smoked my joint and walked about for the next 2 hours quite happy.
I'm going to go down to Spearmint Rhino and get myself some pussy.
So I heard that if you break character while you're doing the whole touristy thing, your pay gets docked.
That didn't happen in the 80s. You just get reprimanded or given restriction of privileges, or if it's really bad time.
See these videos on YouTube, are they real? Like
So there's one video right where these Yanks going up to this Queen's Guard, and he's wearing the bearskin and all that, and the guy's just shit talking, and eventually he gets to the point where the guard just fucking starts laughing. He gets him.
Well, there was one time at St James's Palace where the public could come up and pull you. You got to stand there. And this Japanese guy, his camera all set up, take a photograph of me. But you're allowed to go for patrol, 12 paces that way and 12 paces back. So I showed him my way and keep my attention. After he'd set up the camera and walked backward and come back just half a foot short. Just keep my attention. And he's like, fucking moved the camera again, so I done the same again. I moved half a foot. He was getting really fucked off with me. I was bored. Yeah. And there was another guy, another Japanese tourist, he sat across from me with his pad and he's drawing me. I was like, this must be good, you know. And he's packing up to leave. I went, shh, oi! Yeah. He come over and let's see it. I was, fuck me, if my kid had gave it, wouldn't have even made the fucking fridge door. Absolute pish.
Did you tell him that?
No, fuck off. Honestly, fucking gingerbread man with a gun and a fucking bearskin on.
Big fucking googly eyes.
So disappointed.
Big fucking nose. I'm thinking of Whistler's mother in the Mr. Bean movie with the big nose.
Oh, I've never felt so deflated.
So what left you? How come you left? What happened?
Well, I'd done my PTIs course. I was already having trouble with my right knee, and I'd taken the lads out for a run. We were doing some exercises, and I was doing this hopping one on my right knee, and it just went right over the crack. It was enormous. I was, oh dear, this is bad. This is bad.
You know when you know.
Yeah, I couldn't even. I had two of the guys had to help me back to my room, and they ended up. I had to limp down to the medics. Oh, you've twisted your knee rather badly. I'd fucking ripped my cruciate ligaments, but they knew I was due out in about a few months' time, or maybe a year's time. You had to give a year's notice, so it'd been less than a year. And I was already on my way out because we were going to send us back to Ireland. I thought, well, fuck that. That's his time to get out. But the knee completely nailed it. And I spent a lot of time in the medical unit down at the Guards Depot with this big, massive fucking plaster on my leg. Not plaster of plan, it's just...
A brace. One that you
was
can open.
Yeah, you could take it off. Not like you see today.
Like a splint.
It was just a great big thing to stop me bending my leg.
Yeah, I know you're about because I had it myself.
A bit of wooden string.
But I know you're about because I remember when I popped my cartilage when I was 15.
Yeah, and I remember that I carried you to the taxi.
Twice.
It never really healed, and it's even to this day it gives me trouble, you know. But I'll carry on despite it, you know. Because of it. But I'd had enough, and I got demoted. Well, I was on I was a Lance Corporal. Well, I was on the PTIs course. I got drunk. It was probably the second last, you know. And I like put money in a machine to get cigarettes, and it would give me the cigarettes. And temper, I kicked it and it smashed all the glass at the front. Just helped myself to the fag, and everybody else did as well. So I got bust, criminal damage and theft.
Proper One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest style.
Yeah, and so I was totally disillusioned with the whole fucking thing. I could see through it. You know when your eyes are open, and you can see this is fucking bullshit. But throughout my whole 5 years in the military, there was always a wee voice in my head going, "This is bullshit."
Could you pinpoint any particular incident that kind of planted that seed in your brain to think something went right?
It was loads. Too many to pinpoint, but hurting my knee and the company sergeant major or the commanding officer, I volunteered us for another tour of Ireland. I think, fuck, well done, mate, you know, he's won another medal. And so basically, yeah, it just wore me down, and I knew I had to get out of there because I was beginning to rebel. I was beginning to fucking square up. I battered a sergeant. You know, he was beating a guardsman up in the laundry room. I goes, well, fucking try and beat me up. But my leg was all strapped up at the time. And I'm fucking fighting with this guy. We were actually fighting up the stairs like a Hollywood movie. And I got my good and he went right down, and I was going to throw him down the stairs, and it was Andy got a hold of me. Don't Spike, for fuck's sake, you'll kill him. So word was going about that I was, he's got attitude.
Just taking people to the laundry room and fucking them up.
Well, he was being a bully, and I bullied him. Basically, his name was Willie Garvey. What a cunt of a man! And I just knew it was time that I was getting all these. Your attitude sucks. What's happened to you? You know, you used to be a good soldier and all this. Because I've seen through the fucking bullshit, you know, and I had to get out. And it was the initial feeling of I'm free, I'm out. Didn't last very long. Because you realise you're so lacking in social skills and getting jobs and communicating with people without barking at them or telling them to fuck off or pointing a rifle at them. You know, you had no communication skills at all with civilians because you looked down civilians for so long.
Keep going.
And
keep going.
because you're treated, when you join the army, to treat civilians as civvy cunts. You know, you're better than them. And now you're in amongst them, and you're full of this has to be done now, and you got these civvies like, who gives a fuck? And that was so hard to understand, because if I was given a job to do, I would want to do it properly. And you're mixing with people that just didn't give a fuck, you know. And so I went from job to job to job to job to job, and within a year I had racked up a long record for violence, assault. You looked at me the wrong way, I'd fucking nut you, you know. I might find that surprising. You look at this genteel figure that's talking to me. No, but it was. If I'd met that guy now, I'd be wary of him, very wary of him, because I was so wired up. You don't realise how fucked up you are in the head, because you're all trained for violence. You know, and so yeah, it sent me anger management, woking magistrates. You know, it was better than going to jail. And had these two hippie birds, you know, long hair, just out of university, you know, long sleeves on, long dresses, and not a fucking clue. They were handling a grenade, but they didn't know how to deal with it. So what is it that triggered your anger, Mr. Pike? Because the IRA and cunts like you, that was it. They couldn't deal with me. I had to go and see this bloke afterwards. I kept missing appointments, so I got done for that as well. So it was just, my life was complete shambles.
And this is like, so a 5-year period really of Woking?
Well, I was in Woking till about 89. And I was in this relationship, and I was living in this woman's house. I'd been running bars and working in bars, I'd driving taxis, I was doing umpteen jobs. But working in the bars was a good thing because you could apply for jobs that would live in. So you could move about a wee bit, you know.
Yeah.
I worked for a guy called Des Nouvelle, who was like a very short, fat Basil Fawlty. This guy was unbelievable. He was so rude. You know, I'd be working behind the bar, he'd be behind the bar talking chopped sideburns and all that, you know. And somebody would come and say, "Can I get a pint, please?" "Excuse me, I'm talking." Very rude. And I'd be like, "Fuck, I'll get it for you." You know, I loved him. I got on well with his wife Maggie. She was a lovely woman. But they ended up going to Cyprus, one of the islands off Cyprus, to work in a hotel. I ended up running this pub in Red Hill. I was only 29, sorry. And still wired for violence, and my girlfriend at the time lived in North Camp, and so I ended up leaving this job because I was going to batter the cook. You know, he was getting on my nerves. And it quickly fell apart, and I ended up going back to Glasgow. I thought, I can't fucking stay here. My dad didn't want me there, and I didn't want to live under the same roof as him. We did not get on. But they were going away on holiday for 2 weeks, so that gave me 2 weeks to play with. I could stay in the house in Drumgoyne Avenue. Craigdoor Road, across by the fire station. Been there. And I got hold of Willie on the phone, because Willie, I need somewhere to go. The guy from Ardoyne that said, "I don't like this, take a walk," where the explosion happened. So actually Willie and Nancy drove up from Corby to Glasgow to Mulgai and get me. And I moved to Corby. Met your mum that weekend.
Yeah.
9 weeks later, we got married.
It's fun.
Insane. Absolutely insane, you know.
It's funny.
So Kerry had a dad who was unbalanced. I don't think her mum was in very good shape either at the time. She not long lost her mother. So yeah, we were two lost souls swimming in a fishbowl year after year. And the marriage worked for a while. You know, I had a good job as a roofer. Isabel, your mum, got pregnant with Claire. I got involved in a stupid assault with Willie. It was like train spotting. There was a gang of smackheads, and they were breaking into everybody's house and breaking into cars, or mugging pensioners. They were just horrible bastards. And they broke into Willie's house and stole a few things. And we'd been out drinking this night, and Willie phoned me up and said, landline, you know, these bastards have been in my house, right, we've got to go and sort them out. I goes, right, okay. So I got a hammer. Drove us down to this house in the Brontes, kicked the door in, and we just started to lamp this guy, Tony Young. I don't know if you know his name. Tony Young.
Don't think so.
He'd be older than you.
Bit before my time.
Aye, well, Daniel wasn't even born then.
That's what I'm saying.
So, and we got arrested, and so yeah, we got arrested, and I was on a curfew. I wasn't allowed out after 7 for months and months, right up until the court case happened. Me and Willie at Northampton Crown Court, and the judge said, I sentence you both to 18 months in prison. Oh, fuck. Suspended for 2 years. I could have fucking kissed the bastard. I swear to God, I'm not going to jail.
How come he took sympathy on you?
I think it was we were ex-squaddies.
Mm-hmm.
And our lawyer said, had we been in court one in Northampton, we would have got the 18 months.
Yeah.
But we were fortunate for the courtroom we were in, and I said I would never do anything as stupid as that again. And then you came along, ta-da! And that was great for a while. But
what? What do you mean?
But me and Isabel were struggling.
Oh, right, yeah,
it was a couple, and we just couldn't do it anymore. So I had to leave for a while. But she was going away. She was going to visit somebody. And I moved back into the house to look after Daniel and Kerry for a couple of weeks, and this guy was crawling about with his wee romper suit on, and we bonded big time, you know. It was even after you were born. I remember holding you, and you were like a wee Bart Simpson, and he stretched. I was, oh Christ, I didn't know they'd done that. He just looked at me like, who the fuck are you? And so we tried again, and it worked for maybe not even a year, and we said, look, we can't go on like this. So we tried. I moved to Farmdale Avenue, and you would come. You were walking, and you were about 3 at the time.
Yeah.
And this went on for a few years. I'd pick you and Kerry up from school, take you home, feed you, drop you at your mum's work, and I'd go and drive the taxi. And your mum got involved with this character, George, and you went to the there's a blind school somewhere. Where was it? Rushden, not Rushden. And the whole loadies went over, and they all left, come back to the Domino. Left fucking Daniel there. Well, you're about 5 years old or something.
4.
6 years.
4.
5?
4.
Was you 4? No, you were younger than that. Older than that. Were you still at infant school? Aye. And Kerry told me what had happened. I goes, you've done what? I went fucking mental. Daniel's written about it in his book. I went into her office. I goes, right, the boys come and stay with me. And I didn't even have a bed for him or anything. You know, I had to have a wee makeshift bed. But within a couple of weeks, I'd established a bedroom, 2 beds so Kerry could stay as well. It ended up that went on for a couple of years, didn't it? Monday to Friday.
4 years, and I'll tell you what, it's probably one of the most important years of my life, because
And mine.
You weren't, it wasn't like I say this in a good way, it was a very unusual upbringing, because, your idea of a bedtime story was Martin Luther King's biography.
Yeah.
So I'll be like, Daddy, why did that white woman slap Martin Luther King in the shoe shop? And you're like,
why did Rosa Parks refuse to give up her seat?
Exactly. So you're reading these stories to me, and I remember one time when I was a child, you said to me, I said, no idea of geography. I was like, I reckon we could swim to America, because you always took me swimming.
Mm-hmm.
He said, no, it's too far away. I was like, no, I think we could do it. Because in my child brain, I thought, I knew what the map of England looked like.
So that was it. I was off to the market.
Yeah.
Atlases.
Yeah.
There was no Google at the time.
Just swimming along like.
Well, because back, I already knew what our country looked like because of the weather forecast.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? So I'm thinking that America was just above Scotland, and then you get this map out
Aye.
of the world, and I'm looking at it, and my mind is blowing.
Yeah.
5 years of age, I'm looking at the map of the world. I'm like, oh, there's America. Fucking hell, it's miles
Well,
away.
I could just point to countries and you could go Alaska, Canada, America, Mexico,
Honduras.
Nicaragua, blah, blah, blah.
Chile.
Chile.
Chile's further down.
That's
I still remember.
Yeah. Venezuela and Colombia up the top.
Yeah.
You could just rhyme them all off. And even the flags. And we got to Europe, you could do Europe as well, and then Asia, and you could just
The
memorise
thing was
it
as
all.
well is like the way my brain works is that I had a lot of chaotic potential, and you were able to accommodate that energy.
With my own chaotic potential.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
It was important for me to have you there because it kept me sort of sane for a while. But even though the surface all looked good, I was falling apart inside. I hadn't dealt with all the shite, and when I hit my 40s, and I just lost it completely. Yeah, the fucking ecstasy, cocaine. I was, instead of drinking on a Sunday night, well, I drink every night, but usually at home when you were in bed. Dave would come round, and mates come round and smoke dope and drink a bottle of wine each or something like that. And then it never woke you up or anything, you know. So I completely
good,
lost the plot, and I ended up living in Arran Way, which was not suitable for Daniel to live because it was a shithole, wasn't it? So he spent more and more time back at his mother's, and less time with me, and that went on for about 7 years, didn't it?
About 10 years, yeah.
Not
And
far off the Arran Way though, where he lives.
But I still saw him, but I wasn't the same person.
Oh,
I was a wreck. I was probably having a breakdown, you know.
But like because you fall into that category at the time of being a functioning addict.
Alcoholic.
Because you'd still be working, you'd still be out and about doing things. You never really monged. You were always out doing something.
You try to keep fit and you went swimming and stuff, but it was just a mess. And once you're in the clutches of addiction and cocaine, it's hard to get out of it. You know. And it wasn't until about 2008 it all started to change.
That was when I left Colby.
Well, I remember the reason I stopped snorting coke was a Monday afternoon. I snorted 2 lines of cocaine, and I was going up the Corinthian and drink and just do more coke. And I was halfway up the road and I started to vomit. It's with this coke melting and trickling down your throat. Like, oh God, I can't go to the pub like this. And basically, that was it. The cocaine stopped. I couldn't do it anymore. And I was like, fucking hell. And all of a sudden my life started to change very, very quickly. All the people I used to hang about with, I had nothing more to do with. I got a nice place to live, a Bruce Court, I shared it with Emma. I started a job at the Prince's Trust to taking groups through, which I thought was a great job, but it turned out to be a pile of shite. I've never witnessed so much bullying since the army as I witnessed in that school, Tresham College, and that wasn't the kids, it was the teachers. You know, horrible fucking.
What, old school Tresham before the new one?
This was the old Tresham, yeah. And I'd also found out about 2008 that I had hepatitis C. I'd obviously got it from either hitting up the heroin or tattoos in Hong Kong. I don't know, it doesn't really matter. But I was told...
What is Hep C for those that don't know?
It's a hepatitis that attacks basically your liver. So my liver was trying to deal with the alcohol I was putting through it, and plus it was also getting eaten away by this Hep C virus. And I was told if I didn't get interferon treatment, I would be dead in 5 years. And I took the treatment in 2010, and this is now 2022, and I'm still here, so obviously it worked, you know. And it completely transformed my life. But I did go on with the job because I couldn't keep my mouth shut. You know, there was too much going on that I didn't like, so I just fucking told them to shove it. I wanted paid to the end of the month. And what are you going to do now? I said, well, I'm driving a taxi tonight and I've got enough poetry, because there's obviously during the anger management it was advised that I write my feelings down, and they started to take a poetic form, you know, and I started to recite poems at open mic nights, even though I was off my face at the time. It's tough to sit down and do it, but then I started to do it sober, and I started to write more and more and more, and I started to do bigger gigs in different venues. marquees and tents and stuff like that.
Welding and that, yeah.
Yeah, welding festival. And I thought I thought this is great. You know, I'm actually enjoying what I'm doing. But then I had to start taking the interferon, which completely fucked me for
It's
about
like
a year.
chemotherapy, isn't it?
Oh, basically, you had to inject yourself in the gut once a week. So I would take it Sunday night after I'd finished the Friday, Saturday, Sunday in the cabs, and I would just be bedridden or on the couch for 2 days after it. Sometimes just one day, depends how it was. If it was really cold, it was because it just attacked your immune system.
Mm-hmm.
I used to wonder how old people go like that when they feel the cold. I remember walking from my flat to the shop in Weldon, and it was a cold day, just that shop, and I'm like, fucking hell, I couldn't believe how cold I was. But anyway, I got through it with the help from Donna and a few other people. You know, they would go shopping for me if I wasn't fit enough to shop. And I got through it, and I got the all clear 6 months after I stopped taking the treatment. And ballooned in weight, didn't I? I was 13 stone down. Within a couple of years, I was 17 and a half. I was like, where did all this fat come from? But yeah, the best thing that happened in that time was joining a thing called Veterans for Peace. I was on the computer, and a former SAS guy talks about why it's not good to fight for Queen and Country, Ben Griffin. And I thought, oh, fucking on to that. So I tuned straight into it, and I'm listening, and I'm applauding everything this guy's saying, you know, because he was in the SAS, he was in Iraq, he was in Ireland, and he came back from Iraq.
Ireland? He was in Ireland?
He was in Ireland as well,
yeah,
but that was later on.
Just checking.
It was still a dangerous place to be, but not as with the time I was there. But he was in Iraq, and he was in the SAS, and they would go and they would raid people's houses and really rough people up, the way we did in Ireland as well, but this was just on a bigger scale. They'd go in helicopters and blow the fucking doors open. And he goes, it was looking at the kids, looking at me, saying, why are you doing this to us? Why the fuck are you doing this to us? And he just couldn't handle it. Oh, he was army barmy. He was a proper army. You have to fucking get through SAS training. And this just killed him. He couldn't handle these kids saying, why are you scaring us? They were pissing themselves and shitting themselves. This is what the British and the Americans do to the world. And he came back from Iraq. He said, I'm not going back. But his company commander said, okay, you're free to go. And he started Veterans for Peace. So I'm watching Ben on this, giving the Oxford University a lecture, why it's not good to fight for Queen and Country, which really upset a lot of fucking flag waving arseholes, you know. They don't know the reality of life or war. And so I phoned him up because all his details were on I fucking phoned him up, told him who I was, and I was doing a gig down in London in a couple of weeks. Donna, did we get down with just the two of us that first time? Yeah, so me and Donna went down the first time, and I got up and performed, and Ben was in the audience, and I said hello. And after I'd finished my gig, me and Ben went up the stairs, and we spoke for about half an hour. And I went to an AGM, which was in March, annual general meeting, and I met hundreds of these Veterans for Peace, guys that had been in the Gulf, guys that were older than me, that were in Malaysia and stuff like that. And we were all talking, and I began to listen to these guys, and I realised why I was such a fucking basket case. I had post-traumatic stress. I didn't know what it was, I didn't understand it, but they were all telling me their symptoms. It was, yeah, that was me. And being able to talk to all these guys about what was going on in my head was just...
Keep talking, I'm going to do a camera check. Keep talking.
Okay, right. And they had a panel of 4 guys all talking at this AGM, and one of them was a guy called Lee Lavis, and he said he was living and working in Belfast, and he was working with former IRA guys and former UVF guys, loyalists, Republicans. And he said at the end, any questions? Hands straight up. I want to get involved with what you're doing. I want to help you as much as I can. So me and Lee had a chat afterwards, and we Zoom called each other because he lived in Belfast, I was living in Brigstock at the time, and we arranged for me to go back to Belfast in the August. So from the March of that AGM, I wanted to recreate the feeling that I had when I was a soldier going back and forward to Ireland from Glasgow. So I drove up to Glasgow and stayed with my mum and dad. Since my old man was too old to drive me at the time, so I got my sister-in-law Dee to, and I actually worked. I started to feel anxiety. I started feeling knots in my guts before Dee arrived to pick me up to take me to the airport. And I was like,
I remember Dee recorded you as well.
I was like, what the fuck am I doing? I said, I've got to do this. I have got to do this. And Dee picked me up. And Dee is brilliant at telling the most fucking awful jokes. He's driving the car towards the airport, and I'm thinking, what's going to happen here? What's going to happen here? He goes, my sister Evelyn, which is Dee's partner, he said, Evelyn caught me going through lots of £2 pences and 1 pences and 5 pences, and I was going like that. She goes, what's happening? He goes, I'm just going through the change. That's the kind of humour he was hitting. I'm sitting there shitting myself wondering what's going to happen. He's telling me crap jokes like that, but it worked.
And it's funny as well because Dee's a transgender.
Yeah, you could. Well, that's a whole different story, but I don't want to tell their story. Dee can tell the story maybe one day on Zoom. So anyway, I get to the airport, and I thought, well, you're here now. And I flew to Belfast, and Lee met me at the airport, Belfast airport. And drive and get the bus into Belfast. I started seeing the flags in the loyalist areas, Union flag, Butcher's apron, the English flag, the Ulster flag with the red hand Ulster. And then you start seeing the Republican areas with the Republican flags, and I thought, fucking hell, what's going on here? So that was wonderful for me because I got to meet former members of the IRA. One of them was a guy called Pat McGee, who was doing a talk with Joe Berry. Pat had planted the Brighton bomb. It had killed 5 people, and he'd done 18 years or something for that. And Joe Berry was the daughter of one of the people that was killed. Sir Anthony Berry was the Tory party, basically tried to take out Thatcher, and which more than half of Britain was quite happy about at the time. But I don't want to go into that in politics, because if Thatcher had got killed, I very much doubt Pat would have been released under the Good Friday Agreement, you know, and she would have been a martyr. So I got listening to these people talking, and he's going, I killed this woman's father, and they had to respond. There was a place with about 100 people there, you know, and there's people like, you're a murderer, and there were other people supporting him. And I got to meet the guy afterwards, and I've never met a more decent bloke in my life. He was intelligent, he was softly spoken, he was just such a nice man, and we've been friends ever since. But beyond that, I'd met other guys. I remember there was a jailbreak at the Crumlin jail, which our mob were guarding, and I was in the Crumlin jail. 4 of them had broke out, and we'd got guns, managed to smuggle guns in. I woke up and I wondered, what the fuck, there's police everywhere. What's happened? 4 guys escaped. How did they get out of here? You know, they're all tooled up. But somehow, and one of the guys that I met was one of the guys that escaped, and he'd made it to America. I forget the guy's name. He goes, anyway, got out of the jail. I think Spike must have been fucking sleeping. And to be able to talk to these guys that were active when I was there was so, it was such a healing experience.
Just be able to talk about it. Laugh and
you
shit.
know, and so Veterans for Peace then allowed me to go into schools to talk to children and discourage them from joining the military. It also increased what I was writing about. There's 5 books published now, and you know, just a
6
lot
now.
of things that which also led to me doing the Edinburgh Fringe and things like that, you know. So unfortunately Veterans for Peace is no more because it got too big and it got too political. People started to bicker.
Well, it's the same with the Black Panthers. They eventually became the Crips and the Bloods, gangs in LA. You know what I mean? Because, I'm probably kind of oversimplifying it, but you watch Made in America, the Crips and the Bloods. It's a Spike. It's a Stacey Peralta documentary, and he talks about the origins of these gangs in LA. The Crips wear blue and the Bloods wear red. And they originally started off as the Black Panthers in the 60s, and it sort of broke into 2.
Well, egos get involved, you know, and unfortunately with this the corona baloney, as I call it, because yes, I will put my hands up and say I'm a fucking 100% conspiracy theorist. Fuck the lot, it's all pish, and if you can't see it, there's something fucking wrong with you. But anyway, that kind of caused a big divide, because they introduced Veterans for Peace face masks for us to protest outside arms depots. I said, I ain't wearing that fucking muzzle. It's not a muzzle, it's for other people's protection. So it kind of just spiralled. I was called an anti-vaxxer, and I was called this and called that. I was told them just to fuck off. When Ben came back he had to leave because I think his mental health was suffering. He was arrested twice in one day for drunkenness. I think that was his wake-up call. He came back and he tried and mend it, but he's in his 40s now, and that's where the wheels fell off when I was in my 40s. I think you get to an age where something happens.
Stop giving a shit.
Well, basically, you begin to look at life completely differently.
Yeah, I've got 10 years left.
Well, no, but you're fortunate enough to be aware at your age as you are, you know, because you've had people around you to say, oh, look at it this way, you know, instead of just say, the news is true, is it fuck? So, unfortunately, Veterans for Peace is no more, but, you know, me and Donna put a cracking book together last year called I Won't Paint My House Yellow. We're working on our own books at the minute, and we're also going to work on a collaboration called Trees Make Me Happy, which is basically a book of poetry about nature and how it's good for your mental health.
Yeah, 100%.
I mean, that's where I'm at my happiest, when I'm walking in the woods. And
do you know what's interesting? I think about what's known as manifestation, when you think about things enough and it finally comes true through your own efforts and belief. I remember you saying about 2007, when you're still going through what we call the Lost Weekend. For those who don't know what the Lost Weekend is, John Lennon had broke up with Yoko Ono. And for about 18 months, he went off the rails. And he refers to that as his lost weekend.
18 months, fucking 7 years.
And so during the tail end of your lost weekend, I remember you telling me that you're in the taxi rank and you're watching the Corby Cube being built.
Oh, yeah.
And you said, I'm going to perform in there.
It was just a hole in the ground at the time with the cranes. And I just kept, every day I looked at it because I'm going to perform there one day. And I did. Well, I've done about 20 performances.
Well, I remember as well. Cause
did you ever perform in the old Tresham, no? The Civic?
No, that'd been knocked down by then. You know.
But I remember for the first, because I've always liked poetry anyway. Like even at school, like the only time I did enjoy it, like it was year 11. They introduced us to war poetry. So
Wilfred
Owen and all that, and
Sigrid Sassoon.
Yeah, the mustard gas poems to this day still stays with me.
And Dulce Decorum e Pro Patria.
I think that's the mustard gas poem.
It's good and wise, good and something to die for your country. The old lie.
Oh, I'm thinking of the other one then. But that one I do remember. But the one where they have the gas comes.
Yeah, gas. That's Dulce Decorum.
Right, got it. So I remember watching you perform in the Cube for the first time. You just finished your treatment. And I must have been about 19 at the time, and I remember just fucking belly laughing. There was about 50 people there, and everybody's laughing as you did the Sexy Chef poem, and people were fucking howling.
The line that got them was people were talking about Nigella Lawson. You know, she's all fucking never a bit of fucking flour or egg on her. You know, she's immaculate all throughout, fucking making these amazing meals that she creates. But she's always immaculate. She's probably got a bunch of wee flunkies running about beating up eggs and all that.
I don't know if you pause it right and zoom in. She's got cum on her lip.
A bit of coke in her nose. And but I know we shouldn't knock the girl. She's been through a rough time with that brute. Anyway, so one of the verses is serving up in little bits. Something about in little bits. A serving suggestion, you shoot your tits. and of course, these were mostly teenagers. I never just thought that was hilarious. I was not expecting that burst of laughter.
And we've come a long way since Fanny Craddock.
Much has changed since Fanny Craddock.
But I just remember belly laughing, and this was a pretty pivotal moment in my life as well that I want to share with you. You know, I'm 19 years of age, and you're given the all. You haven't been given the all clear, but the treatment was over. And going back to that whole secondary father figure, Joseph Campbell says that you reject your primary father figure because when you get to that adolescent period and you start to be influenced more by your peers rather than your parents, you subconsciously reject your parents. And you start to seek influence out there, whether it was the older kids at the Conity Centre or whether it was Marilyn Manson music or Rage Against the Machine music. And you know, I moved to Weymouth and all that, and I kind of had to find whatever I was searching for at that time. And I get to 19 years of age, and I'm probably at the peak of my parkour career. I remember being very good at this point.
I remember watching you thinking, fucking hell, he's really good.
I did a backflip in Sean's bedroom. You know what I mean? We were all getting stoned, and the ceiling's up to here on me. And I got down and fucking backflipped. And I remember about a month after you'd done that performance, because I remember laughing, thinking, "Fucking hell, he's good." And then we went to we did that drive to Scotland.
That was the start. Of something really good. A reconnection.
Yeah, we
had that father son, little son, and now you were an adult.
Yeah.
And there was about a 7 year to 8 year
10-year gap really since everything, since
Yeah,
I'd left,
yeah.
since the whole Poplar Road thing had came to an end. And I remember we drove, it was a 7-hour journey, and we chatted the whole way.
Yeah.
We didn't stop talking. And then we went to Loch Owe.
We went to Oban from Glasgow. We should pass Loch Lomond.
Yeah.
I don't think you'd seen scenery like that.
Oh, it was beautiful. And I remember we're skimming stones and we're just chatting away. And in my mind, it was almost like you had gone through a rebirth. You know, like
I had.
Yeah, and it was like it sounds bizarre, but I almost like it's like I chose you to be my secondary father figure, because the father son or the father child dynamic had come to an end. It had been reborn as a sort of because we had our first conversation as men at that point, and that was
that trip to Oban was. I remember it vividly, and I remember looking at you, just going,
yeah,
the whole length of Loch Lomond, which is 22 miles. But then we got to Loch Awe, which is one of the deepest lochs in Scotland. You look over the edge, you see a little bit, and then it's black. Pure
you can
black
drink.
water.
You can drink from it.
Yeah, and we were skimming stones, and I was quite good at it.
I wasn't. 19 was a strange year for me because, again, but all for the right reasons. You know, I was saying to Sean on the last podcast, you know, I remember watching Ancient Aliens, which is a pile of shite these days, but it was important at the time because it's sort of like this.
Those first 2 seasons hold up, mate.
Oh, they're pretty good, right? They talk about like the pyramids being built by aliens. I'm not saying that's wrong,
you know,
but I'm just it was the presentation of it.
They say, but they're not 100% on aliens. They're more like
ancient. What we looking
at? Like they're even like it could have been like fucking mind.
Yeah, and what it did was it opened my mind to these possibilities. It introduced me to the concept of Nikola Tesla, and I remember that's when I first started. Tesla, yeah, Nikola Tesla.
Is that the light bulb guy?
Yeah.
Well, it was there was Edison and there was Tesla. So Tesla was AC output and Edison was DC. We now use AC, and there's Wi-Fi and there's all these things. But the guy was just fucking died poor, essentially, and he changed the world. Yeah. And I started getting into dystopian fiction like 1984 and Brave New World. I fucking hate Brave New World, but I love 1984. And it just started to open my mind to dystopian fiction and existential stuff like Philip K. Dick and Blade Runner and all this stuff. And I was on that journey. I don't know where I was going with this, but you know what I mean? Just that year of my life was very important. 19 was when things really changed because I just finished college. And
me and Donna were listening to Matt Letizia. What was it he called these people, Donna? Morally corrupt human beings. They just swallow everything they see on the telly, on the news, the newspapers, and they believe it. They're not willing to even open their eyes or question anything. And that's what we're up against, you know. I don't care now because this whole corona baloney thing has made me stronger. And I don't give a fuck what people say about me anymore. I don't give a shit. It's like
call it Novid.
A freeing
Rona.
Yeah, Novid.
And it's just like, you know, I'll argue with any fucker now, you know. This is, look, you've had your injections, you fucking deal with it. I haven't, I'm fucking healthy.
Yeah, no, exactly. I agree. Same here.
I mean, all these people dying and like, you know, it's all sudden death syndrome. Fuck off. You know, if you can't get it by now, you're never going to get it. So don't even fucking speak to me. You know?
Like 10 years ago, no one was just dying. Like, just dying. Oh, it's sudden death, it's normal.
Still die,
yeah, but like not just in them walking through the woods.
Fit, healthy, young sports people, you know, men and women, you know.
Well, I heard the other day some 15-year-old kid was just walking through the woods. He died of sudden death syndrome. A 15-year-old kid just...
The problem is that, like, you know, I look at, you've got to be very discerning of information from both angles because eventually, you know, it's like controlled opposition. I'm always wary of controlled opposition. And that's because I was saying to Sean the other day, I was saying, like, you know, in the 80s and all that, you had all that bullshit, Reaganomics, Thatcherism bullshit, where it was like you, the individual, trying to empower the individual. You know, but it really introduced like buy now, pay later, credit,
debt.
Exactly. And then in the 90s, when we were coming of age, they started to introduce old classical liberalism, which is not a bad thing. You know what I mean? I believe in fairness and equality and all that, but they were trying to tie in this individualism and liberalism at the same time. I don't think we've spoke about it so many times.
I don't think a glass of wine has ever lasted me this long in my life.
I'm nurturing this like a fucking grey's knee.
Well, anyway, we're getting towards the end, so I just want to ask real quickly, what's your favourite movie?
Well, I have to go back many years. Comedy-wise, it's got to be Mel Brooks. He is the funniest
Blazing
writer.
Saddles and Young Frankenstein.
Blazing Saddles. Young Frankenstein, I could recite word for fucking word.
You know what? I had a friend.
A funny way thing happened in the way to the Colosseum. That's a funny film. The producers,
Yeah.
both of them. I didn't think I'd like the second one because I liked the first one so much, but the second one was just as good.
But Spaceballs.
War films,
Space-
Platoon, Apocalypse Now, Hamburger Hill. I
Yeah.
don't think you could get any better than that.
With Apocalypse Now, like I struggle to watch films all the way through now because it's just it's just effort, you know. But when it comes to Apocalypse Now, I'll always watch the first 8 minutes.
Fuck, try watching Deer Hunter. Holy fuck.
Long film, is it?
Just their first hours them at a wedding.
Yeah.
I like Braveheart as well. I thought that was a cracking film, even though it was historically.
We Were
totally
Soldiers.
inaccurate.
Have you ever seen that?
That was
With Mel Gibson.
We Were Soldiers.
Ah.
Is that about Gallipoli?
Oh, what is that about?
First World War? When he was a runner.
No.
Yeah, it is. It's either the second.
Was that Donna?
Once Were Warriors.
We
No,
Were
that's
Soldiers.
about the Maoris.
Oh yeah.
Guys, what?
That's a cracking.
I
Yeah.
can't remember. It's really intense, like action though. Like
Here's some
it's
interesting
really
one
good.
for you. So with the first 8 minutes of
Apocalypse Now.
Apocalypse Now, they're playing The Doors, right? And you're actually witnessing Martin Sheen having a mental
Yeah,
breakdown.
yeah, absolutely. And I've done the same as he was doing, drunk and that, and punching a mirror. I actually remember punching a mirror.
So there's a documentary about the making of that movie that came out about 15 years after it was made, called Hearts of Darkness, Making of Apocalypse Now. And they talk about how one of the advisors on the film said soldiers are quite vain, so he would be like putting a hand through his hair and checking himself out, so that's what they changed it to and all that. And they just filmed Martin Sheen on his 36th birthday while he was off his face.
Yeah, having a breakdown.
And it was fucking fascinating. And when it comes to Platoon, I love that scene, that 2-minute scene in the bunker when you're introduced to William Dafoe. And Charlie
when
Sheen,
they're all smoking weed and that,
suck on this.
Get your lips round this, suck on this, or
You've
whatever.
got Jefferson Airplane playing in the background.
And White Rabbit.
White Rabbit, that was it. Yeah. I wish
Yeah.
Platoon would just be that. That's it.
It's just how easy it is to divide even a small platoon of about 30 guys. How two influential figures could completely divide it.
Yeah.
You know, I would have been on Defoe's team.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I always call him William Dafoe. It's Willem Dafoe.
Willem Dafoe.
William Dafoe.
And me and Sean will remember him famously for
Elias.
playing
Sergeant
Green Goblin.
Elias.
Green Goblin, yeah.
And the difference between the two camps is Stoneheads relaxed, having fun, and then you go up to the other camp where they're all drinking Jack Daniels and playing cards. There's an edge to it, you know.
Yeah, and you probably had that as
aggression.
well, didn't you?
Oh yeah, definitely had both. I'd experienced both, you know. But films, I don't bother much with films now. There's one or two I want to watch. I would like to see this Mel Gibson one that's coming out about the Rothschilds. That'd be, if he managed to live through it.
Well, he managed to do Passion of the Christ. I'm sure he can do this.
Well, I hope so, because that's one to watch. But I've not, like you said, I've not got the patience to sit for 3 hours.
Well, the last film you and I watched together was Joker, and that was quite good, wasn't it?
I thought, just because of the actor,
Yeah.
he is amazing. For Phoenix,
Joaquin Phoenix, yeah.
Joaquin Phoenix.
And Joker's is a great character anyway.
I thought that was a body double he used when he was all skint and deformed.
No, that was him.
That was him. He starved himself or something.
Christian Bale did it in The Machinist.
Oh.
You know what I mean? And then a year later, he's playing Batman. And he's fucking
all muscled up.
Yeah. And
Yeah, but they get that electric shock shit, don't they?
well, they just fucking take steroids.
Like,
but
nah, and Tom Holland was saying on Graham Norton, they get like electric things and
Yeah.
that.
And
Just cheating, innit?
Heath Ledger playing the Joker. That scene he does when he's been interrogated by the Batman in The Dark Knight. He says he's so
I'm not a
called.
monster.
I'm just ahead of the curve. He said he's
Yeah,
so
I
called.
love that.
He's
He
so
said,
cool.
I'm not a monster. These people are so-called civilized. They will eat each other.
Yeah, when the chips are
I'm
down.
not a monster. I'm just ahead of the curve. And I thought, yeah, he's fucking spot on, because we witnessed it.
Yeah.
People fighting in supermarkets over bog roll.
That
You
was
know, what would we
ridiculous.
do for fighting our water?
They've never heard of like an A4 sheet of paper. You just fucking...
We used to do army paper, army toilet rolls, the fucking worst. It's wax. How can you wipe shit off your ass with waxy paper? You have to rub it to death first. Try and make it. Having a crap took an hour.
Just use the sink and just wash your ass. Do you?
Music wise, it's always going to be Floyd.
Floyd, yeah.
Yeah, and the Doors and the Animals of late. I've been listening to a lot of them.
Your
And I
favourite?
like soul and everything really. What I can't stand is manufactured pop.
Yeah.
Stock Aitken the Waterman, they should be shot for the pish that they fucking inflicted on people's ears. I could be so lucky. Fuck off.
You know, it's funny. When it comes to Pink Floyd, there used to be a tribute band in the UK.
Yeah.
And they used to perform around Brian's house.
Yeah.
And I wasn't smoking
I heard
weed.
they're really good.
Oh, amazing! And I don't think they're around anymore. But I wasn't smoking weed at the time. But I was clearly getting hotboxed by the weed in Brian's home. He's just laying there, and they're playing "Shine On You Crazy Diamond."
Oh,
ding, ding, ding.
yeah, I'll
and I'm
tell
like,
you,
fuck hell.
that's my favourite piece of music. That 20 minutes of guitar music.
Yeah, ding, ding, ding.
And the reason it's my favourite piece of music because we were on the streets. What's that?
Donna was imitating me.
All right, and dun 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 dun.
Yeah.
We've been out in the streets and the markets, and the kids had hit us with fucking everything they could get their fucking hands on, and I was starting to realise what a hostile, dangerous environment we were in, and we were stationed in this mill, Howard Street Mill, which is between the Falls Road and the Shankill Road.
Mm-hmm.
The Falls Road was only about 20 yards away. Shankill was about 200 yards away. So we were in mortar range, shooting range, everything. And I remember lying in my bed. We were all in bed. And I was like, fuck sake, what am I doing here? What am I doing here? And Blade had brought a record player. And this guy called Ian Hood put on Wish You Were Here. I'd never heard Wish You Were Here before. I'd heard The Wall and all that. And this down, 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 down. I was like, what is that? And I just, for 20 minutes, I wasn't in Belfast. I was somewhere wonderful, somewhere beautiful with this guitar music. Who was the guitarist? What was his name?
I don't know their names.
Roger Waters. It wasn't the other. How can I forget his name?
Fuck, I've got a fucking shirt with their names on it as well. I'm done, man. I can't remember.
He's a bit more fantastic guitarist than whatever. I can't remember his.
Oh, we're gonna get crucified, or we
I
can't
know.
remember the fucking Pink Floyd guitarist name.
Why?
Put it in
Peter
post.
something. Peter.
No, it wasn't.
Oh,
I
God
thought
damn.
Frampton came to head there, but it's not
Peter
Frampton. No.
Peter Stringfellow.
Up there with his G-string. Down, 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 down. Plucking the string behind his arse, going down, 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 down.
That reminds me of a stupid insult I said to someone once. I said,
As soon as you switch that fucking thing off, I'm going to remember a guy's
I
name.
know.
Hey, David Gilmour, thank you, Donna.
hell.
I knew she would contribute.
So we'll just cut the rest out. It's David Gilmour, it's the guitarist.
Are you alright there, Hen?
we'll wrap up soon.
Yeah, no.
Right, yeah, so this has been great chatting to you. What episode is this?
What's going to be our 400 subs episode?
So yeah,
400 subs. Like we've just
400
got
subscribers.
We've just got 400 subscribers
Have
now.
you really? Christ.
Getting there.
Oh, well,
Taking
well
us a
done,
while,
you
but.
know.
So you'll be our 400 subscribers episode.
Mm-hmm.
But I was gonna ask you about the fucking time you took us to that hippie house party.
Oh yeah,
Remember that?
in Kettering, and there was that woman Still I Rise.
Oh,
And the motherfuckers playing the bongos and shit.
oh yeah. Jesus, we're talking about.
Sorry, we've just been calling them hippie motherfuckers for ages.
Oh, cut that. Yeah, it was the House of the Damned, wasn't it? It was just some mental
Every
place.
room we went in, someone was fucking. We were just trying to find some fucking food. We were just like, "Where's our Domino's?"
But what happened was is that there was this woman who was telling the story, and she was so sad. She was talking about like how she'd been through this, that, and the other, right? And she did a poem about Still I Rise, and then she.
Oh, that's an African. Is that an
No,
African
she was
poem?
white. She was a white woman.
I know the
No,
poem,
but
yeah,
Still
but
I
it's-
Rise is.
She was doing the
Still
poem. I don't know if it was her
Arise.
poem, but here's what happened, right? So she's telling this sad
Donna
story,
knows who's
and I
doing
could
it.
tell that by this point you just fucking broke. Like you weren't buying into their bullshit. You just
No,
like.
no, this is fucking pish.
So you just like.
No, but they were talking about
food parcel,
food
and
parcels
they're like
and
beans,
shit.
and you went fucking beans. Take your beans back, you cunt. And she looked so destroyed.
She was like,
I remember once I attended this jamboree, it was called. Paula Bolton had organised it, and it was up at Kingswood Church. It was on Southbrook, and I was there to do some poems. It was very early on, before I'd even any manuscripts done or books or anything like that. Done very, very early, so it was pretty raw stuff. And there's this guy in a karate uniform, and I thought he was a proper karate guy. And he painted
just how he dressed?
He painted his hand red, and he went like that. And then he handed out wee bits of paper with questions on them that people could ask him the question he had written.
Right.
And he gave me one. I goes, no, I've got a question. What the fuck was all that about? The place erupted.
Hey.
And the guy left.
I've got a story to tell you that I've not told you before, right? This happened about a month ago. Me and Sean went to go see David Sedaris.
Uh-huh.
And
Oh, fucking hell.
right, and I went to we did the book signing and all that, and I told my story, and he didn't understand what the fuck I was saying. I was so disheartened because I thought I was really going to get chummy with this guy. He didn't give a fuck.
Do you know, the only issue was he tried to tell a joke, but he was saying all the English lingo like gyro and just like
it
shit
was
he
to-
would never
Willie
understand.
American.
Willie Langdon.
Yeah, he's an
It was to
American
do with
guy.
Willie Langdon's
Oh, with the 8 bottles of Eldorado.
yeah.
Yeah.
Did you get the joke?
Yeah.
He got it in the end when I explained like
What a gyro
welfare. He means and he was like, "Oh yeah, I get it. I'm gay."
'Cause he-
No, I'm joking. He is actually really funny. I do like the guy.
Did you hear that story, Donna?
No.
Right, Willie told me this story, it cracked me up. They get the gyro, his uncle, let's call him Uncle Bertie and Auntie Betty, right, and they get the gyro. He goes, right here, I want to get some baby. Right, she goes, get some breeding on. He's like, aye. So he come back with 8 bottles of Eldorado, which is equivalent to Buckfast, and 2 loaves of breed. And she said, what did you buy all that breed for?
Well, this is going to get you, right? So you ready?
Nothing to do with the 8 bottles of LD.
Well, this is what happened, right? So Sean's quite stoned on the way back, and one of this like we're in the we're on the road in the middle of buttfuck nowhere, right? And this is it's a 50 road, and this ambulance is in front of us doing 30. I said, why is this ambulance driving so fucking slow? And Sean goes, maybe it's got a patient in it. I was like, it'd be going fast, you cunt. He thought that the ambulance was driving slow as
Well,
a
don't
cat.
drive too fast, I'm not well.
That's what I thought.
I'm a wee bit poorly. Can you slow down? You give me a fucking heart attack, you bastard.
That's generally how
Fucking
I thought,
ambulance
man.
guy, like, I fucking hate this fucking job.
The lights weren't going or nothing, just
Oh,
cruising.
maybe they're just having a wee stroll down the road.
No, that's fine. But he thought there was patients in the ambulance.
I was like, they must be going slow. They must be having patience.
What were you smoking that night? Could I have some? Right, are we wrapping this up?
Yeah. It's a
Yeah,
pleasure.
Right,
Anyway,
I tell you what, it's been a fucking pleasure.
I want to say
Right.
thanks a lot. It's an honour.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm glad to see what you're doing. It's going well.
Yeah.
And I hope, you
Come-
do it because you love it.
Yeah, and we'll come on again soon.
Destination's not important. It's a journey.
And,
Exactly.
And come on again.
I will.
Exactly.
Hopefully I'll have more to tell beyond this.
Yeah.
You know.
Subscribe, and we'll put some links into your Amazon for your books and that.
Yeah. I've got 5 publications. You know the names of the books.
Yeah.
And me and Donna's got one called I Won't Paint My House Yellow, which means I won't conform.
Yeah.
We wrote it about to counter the official narrative on the COVID bullshit. So yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Peace.